something. Just something. Give me vinegar. Give me something.
I mean, I've got like ranch and stuff upstairs.
Yeah. That would have been fine.
I'm like, you got anything? You're like, no.
You did.
Nothing. I got nothing.
He's like, do you want McDonald's condiments or like, I don't keep like spares up there or anything.
He's probably got Sweet Baby Ray's up there. Like,
Yeah.
I know, right.
I got the hot one set.
I do got some.
I got truff up there.
I got some B-dubs sauce up there.
That's incredible that he asked you that 9 nuggets ago.
Look, I had to suffer through on planes, so fuck all y'all.
I could have brought my XXX last dab for you.
There's some up there. What's that?
Is it terrible?
Yeah, you want some of that? There's Tabasco over there. There's truff.
They're gone.
Oh,
you got fries?
Pussy.
I always eat the fries first.
I like that. That was good. I remember we had it.
Yeah.
Hey, was the gummy really that much worse than the chip?
Yes,
bro.
Yes. I will take that chip any fucking day over that. I will never do that gum again.
That gum was
awful, bro.
Was it terrible?
Oh,
it was awful. And somehow I managed to actually complete that, and I did not complete the fucking.
I gave up. I tried. My tongue went right through that gum. I'm like, I'm not doing this again. Yeah. Spit it out.
And Jesse tried to be hard for like 5 minutes, and then afterwards, like, "Hey man, can I get some of that milk?"
He was sweating. He had his coat on, and he was all shivering.
Yeah, y'all look miserable,
bro. It was awful.
You should have seen that. Like when we were back there, I'm crunched over the toilet, just spitting the whole time, and Jesse's back there. I swear to God, he had a demon. He's like
screaming,
pounding his chest.
Yeah.
And then he comes out here and he grabs his coat and he puts his coat on. He's like, I'm fucking cold, man. Fucking cold.
I was like, it's Matthew McConaughey from Wolf of Wall Street.
Jesus. That was Jesse. He's trying to get through it.
Yeah, it looked terrible.
I was the only one that kept the camera going though.
You guys made it through the time on the chip, right?
Yeah, he won the chip. And then
me and Jesse completed the gum.
You guys blew the bubble and he lasted longer as far as time.
Yeah. Dude, once I blew that bubble, I did not give a fuck about how long. This wasn't a time one. All it said on the thing was blow a bubble. I'm like, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
What was great is we didn't even record a show afterwards.
No. We couldn't. Me, you, and Chris sat around.
Dude, I was
and
still
like bullshitting
choking
for a little while, but it wasn't anything.
Like I'm sitting there going,
yeah, bro, that was awful. All right, we ready?
I guess.
You gonna chug a beer?
I swapped out my Gucci watch bands.
Is that your second cut on them?
Yeah, a lot better.
I can do that, Chris.
Oh,
what's going on, y'all? You're tuning in to the highest rated, most listened to podcast to ever grace the airwaves, and you're a better person for listening to us. All right, maybe not, but you're really going to enjoy it anyways. This is Made to Motivate podcast, and we'll be talking social media hot topics, pop culture news, the greatest in movies and music, and all things sports. Make sure you're following us on social media at Made to Motivate podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can watch the show on our YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. And with that being said, let's get this show started. What is going on, y'all? Made to Motivate podcast, season 6, episode 5. 5, right?
Yeah.
We're on 5?
Yep.
Your host, Ryan Weiss. Joined as always by the one and only Dick Lapstick.
Dick Lapstick, baby. Rocking the injured guys tonight, you know?
Fuck that guy.
Chris Paul.
We got Daniel, Denim Dan, Sandmann.
What's going on, fellas?
How's it going, sir?
It's going, man.
And we got a special guest with us today. The one and only Miniature Golf's worst contributor to the league,
Ooh.
Bradley Biltz. How's it going?
Great. We can't hear Ryan from that far down the leaderboard.
Wow. Dan, you got something with you today? You brought?
Oh, yeah.
What's that you got over there?
I got the belt.
Oh,
dang, that thing's shining.
Yeah.
Got the belt.
I'll never know.
Missed that thing, man. It's been a while since that man took it from me.
But yeah, so we got Brad Biltz with us. You've heard us talk about Brad on the show before. He is in mini golf league with us and pool league and all kinds of stuff. He's my little brother's neighbor, which I never knew that until I met him. And
right? Small world, right?
Super random.
So odd.
But yeah, we're back for another show. Look at us, 2 weeks in a row. I said it was going to happen eventually. We're here.
It almost didn't, though.
I'm caught up to all episodes.
Of course, by the time you guys hear this.
Okay, fuckface. I got the last one out
Memorial Day.
on time. It was up. I gave a little breathing room for the other 2 that I was 6 months behind on.
No,
But
we'll
then the most recent one I got up in a couple days.
Dude, I know. I agree with you.
next
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
they see us, we'll be filming our gift exchange.
You know what? You're a bunch of fucks. Anyhow,
God, I miss Chris.
what about a catch up? What's going on? What's new? What's happened since last week? Chris, what's going on with you?
Got to try out Cult.
You know what? No one fucking cares.
Oh, wow.
See, that's what happens when you're the host. Fuck you guys. No, what's going on? What's new?
I got to check out Culver's for the first time ever. I've heard a lot of mixed reactions. Some people really like it. Some people really don't like it. I got a cheeseburger, a concrete mixer, which is basically a blizzard, and cheese curds. I like 2 of the 3. I thought the burger was very tasteless. I don't know if it's just it didn't tasteless. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if it didn't have veggies on it or it needed a sauce. It needed something.
Yeah.
Like
Didn't you have mushrooms on it?
It had mushrooms and it had
Not a veggie?
cheese. That was it.
That's a veggie.
I know, but
It had the stuff,
needs
but it
like
just wasn't
lettuce,
cut in it.
tomatoes. Yeah. Needs something good on there. But yeah, I was just so flat and I was disappointed. Then I tried the cheese curds, fell in love with them.
Yeah.
So fucking good. And they give you so many of them for a large order. I was like, dude, I paid $4 for these and like overflowing out of the bag.
Have you had A&W cheese curds?
Yes.
How do they compare to those? Because those are
I
fucking
think they're
those
better.
slam.
To me, they're better.
If they're fresh, I think A&W's are better.
Yeah.
You
You think Culver's is better?
I think
Dan?
Culver's is better.
I think if they're fresh, A&W's is better. But the problem is you always get them both when they're like been under the heat lamps for so long.
Yeah.
The ice cream is the thing, the be all end all. That was the reason to go.
Concrete.
If I go back again, it's going to be, I'll probably get a milkshake and an ice cream. Like so good.
You guys and your ice cream.
So my expectations were exactly what you experienced. Like what I felt when I told you, like the burger's like, okay.
Yeah.
Everything else is great.
Huh.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Which is super weird when
Yes.
you're like, quote unquote, known as a burger place.
Yeah.
And they're mediocre.
Well, especially you said last week, we were talking about this, like around here, you've got Swenson's, you've got Skyway, you've got Whitey's, you've got so many great hamburger options that you better bring your game. If not, you're going to fall behind in Ohio.
So yeah, I went there. What else?
Other than that, just preparing for the pool tournament starts Wednesday. Yeah, we're going to kick it off with a double header and then we'll see where it goes, man. Want to defend my crown.
Good luck. Good luck. You'll see me in the finals.
Well, I'd have to see you in the final 4.
I'll be there watching.
Oh,
That's all. That's what I meant.
I can meet you in the semifinals. I
Yeah.
can't meet you in the finals.
How about you, Daniel? What's new and exciting?
Well, I had a pretty exciting day today.
Yeah.
Went and checked out a place that sells Amazon return pallets, or like, I don't know if it's just specifically Amazon, but
Yeah.
ended up buying a pallet and took it home and unboxed everything. A lot of good options. I think I'm gonna make some money off of the whole thing in general.
Did you find a dildo?
Yeah, actually I did.
Oh.
Do you want to buy it? It's for sale.
Talk after.
No, there's so yeah, I was
Make a
going through
deal.
I was going
The
through the
price is right.
boxes and came across this one that had a machine in it. And I went straight for the instructions thing before looking at anything else. I'm like, I wonder what this is. Open it up. Yep. I knew.
Fistful of dick.
Yeah, it was one of those
That's a dick.
fuck machines. And then I look in the box and there's this pink dildo on the top. I'm like, I hope this isn't used.
Did it make you feel inadequate?
It cracked me up. It actually did. I was very sad.
No better that someone else was there with you when you opened it.
Yeah, my dad was behind the camera watching the whole unboxing of this thing. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I can show this. He's like, what is it? I'm like, it's not PG-13 rated or anything like that.
It's a big dick.
He's like, well, what? I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I should show it. And then I lifted it up and he lost it. It was hilarious.
So funny.
Yeah, but there's a lot of good stuff on there. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Nice.
What else did I do? That was it. That's been the
main thing.
main
Your
thing.
highlight.
Still dealing with the shit with the refrigerator and
Hey,
warranty
but you got
company.
an ice machine in your pallet, so you're all
Yeah,
set now.
there was an ice machine in there, but I got to sell it. I got to make money.
A modern day Othello by this point, man. It's just a dramatic stage play that just keeps going on and on.
Wow. Never
What,
ending.
the refrigerator?
Yeah.
Dude,
Just fucking replace it. Like it's your refrigerator, guys.
Well, I called the service team that came out, and because I hadn't heard from them in over a week, like any follow up to what happened. So I reached out to them and asked them, and they played their card like, oh, we just got the information today. Like, oh, how convenient. I called you today. Said that they're denying the claim because of external heat was applied to it that wasn't authorized. And I'm like, I don't know how many times I got to tell you guys this. I'll tell you till I'm blue in the face, 6 feet under. No heat was applied other than the shit that you guys applied to it.
Which is when they're probably going to own up to it anyway.
So they're like, well, the general manager isn't in right now. I can have him give you a call next time he's in. Oh, well, today he didn't call me.
Of course
so he wasn't in today either. How convenient.
They're not going to pay shit, man.
So when I got off the phone with them, I called the Home Depot warranty servicing people. And the crazy part is they all basically use the same warranty team. Assurian. They all use the same one. Home Depot calls them, they assign a service tech to it.
Yeah.
Samsung, if they want to send somebody out to look.
Isn't that who does like the cell phones and stuff too? Isn't that a
They do everything. They do microwaves, ranges, dishwasher, TVs, anything electrical that had a manufacturer's warranty on it, they will do the extended. So Samsung, when I talked to them and they sent somebody out in an Assurian van, like an Assurian tech.
Yeah.
Came out to my house. Super cool dude. Took a ton of pictures, got a bunch of information. Anyway, I called Assurian and I talked to them about the fact that my claim was denied. And can you give me more information why? And they basically couldn't, other than stuff I already knew.
Right.
They had no new information. They're like, well, we're gonna forward this up and we'll probably get back to you in the next day or 2 business days. We're gonna have to do an investigation.
Don't insult my intelligence.
Because if you're saying that you didn't apply the heat, then maybe either it was defective from the get-go, or that you have to investigate the service tech, ask him the questions, what he did, the process he went through, and if he did something to mess up my refrigerator, they're on the hook for a replacement of my refrigerator.
For sure.
Now, if that doesn't work out, I got to call Samsung again and force their hand into getting a replacement to me.
But I feel like you've already done all of that. Like you've already pressured Samsung, which then said, okay, we'll send somebody else out. Then they send somebody else out who investigates it again and says the same thing, that you didn't do anything, that they can tell
all
you
3
didn't do
techs
anything.
that have come to my house and reviewed the pictures or reviewed the ice maker have said, I can tell you haven't applied that there was no other heat applied, because you'd see warping down the inside back of it instead of just right in the front.
Maybe they're trying for best of 7 opinions.
There you go.
Let's keep
Job
going.
security. They got to get
Send
these
another
guys out there, I guess. That's
So
fucking
yeah,
stupid.
that I was like at my wit's end there.
So what Dan's really saying is don't buy anything Samsung appliance.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Don't utilize Home Depot's extended warranty. Like, I don't want to say the name of the company because they're still like
Fuck them.
working, trying to see what they can do. If they come back and say this isn't on us, then I'll blast the fuck out of them.
I'm with Ryan because like so far, just the fact that you've waited this long, like this is ridiculous. Even if they fixed it tomorrow,
At
it
this
would be
point,
too long.
Samsung should resolve it and then they settle up with the fucking place.
Yeah.
Get it fixed. You've been going on without this working for a while.
$2,800 refrigerator. My ice maker hasn't been working, and then in the process of trying to get that fixed, they damaged my refrigerator, so it's irreplaceable
Yeah. It's bullshit.
or not repairable.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah, and I got a promotion on the show.
You did get a promotion. You're official now.
I'm officially a
official.
co-host.
Yeah.
You like polo shirts with co-host on it.
I
mean, it's because
I
that
mean-
one guy doesn't show up anymore. What were you saying about him earlier before we started the show?
just because he has a kid doesn't mean he can't come to a 3-hour.
He's got 12 hours to play
podcast.
Pokestop. So
Yeah, he had an entire. Did he say 12 hours? I thought he said like 14 hours.
14 hours.
Come on, Jesse.
And you're 3 episodes shy of 3rd place, so that's pretty
Jesse,
cool.
I tried so hard to defend you when I got here, but then they told me about the Pokemon thing.
Yeah, and he's trying to buy our Pokemon off of us.
He went and saw a 3-hour movie the other night.
3-hour. Yeah. Didn't invite us.
Yeah.
Neither did you, Chris.
Chris, Chris, like, I'm always at the movies.
I haven't-
I'm going to show up to every showing and just hope, hey, Chris might be
Do it.
here.
It'll make it better. I have an open door policy with
I-
anybody that reads my reviews. I always say, if you want to come, Come along.
I got to know you're there in order to fucking come.
I always post. I said, this is what I'm reviewing this week.
Starting to get sexual.
Hey,
Yeah. You want to come?
come on the drum. It's from a movie. I don't remember which one, but it's on a drum. Come on the kick drum.
On the kick drum.
What is that movie?
Bum,
The breakup.
on the kick drum.
What is that?
With
Boom.
Vince Vaughn.
On
And,
the-
Oh yeah, the breakup with Jennifer Aniston.
You should come
Yeah,
and
just
listen to the
answer.
Tone Rangers. I think you'd really like that.
Jesus. So Jesse, basically what we're saying is you're a dick, and you should probably show up someday.
Cheeseburger.
Dick cheeseburger.
Come hang out.
Gosh, he doesn't like us anymore.
We don't ask for much. How many hours are there in a week?
Do we need any guesses on who we went and saw the Batman with?
168, by the way.
3 hours.
Oh, Jesse.
What percentage
Jesse.
of 168 is 3 hours?
Come on, man.
Anyways, Bradley Built.
How we doing?
Hey, are you related to Built Road by any chance?
Yeah. So
I
like,
figured.
I guess my great uncles, I guess, own some property still out there.
Okay.
But they were like, so apparently we were a big deal when we first got here.
You're not a big deal anymore?
No.
I mean, I don't think it's like the name's not as prominent now. Like,
I
sure, we have
gotcha.
a road and like that kind of stuff, but like the whole family doesn't,
Yeah.
you know, they're not out there like
Every time I drive by my brothers and I see that, I'm always like, I need to ask Brad if that's their road. But
You know what'll bring you back to prominence? Win that tournament this year.
That's it.
they take over the whole town.
That's it.
What's new? Did you do anything fun this last week or this weekend? Anything got going
So-
on? What's up?
My birthday is Sunday,
Okay.
so you know that's a good time. We're golfing outdoors tomorrow.
65 though. Woo.
Yeah.
Can't beat it. So we're in a 30-team golf scramble tomorrow.
30
Wow.
teams?
Yeah. Yep.
That course is going to get fucked up.
Sold out. Yeah. So they were mentioning making it car path only, which sounds like the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be impossible to do that with that many people, though.
Yeah.
Wow.
Especially when like this
I'll be out there
outing,
for hours.
everybody gets 2 free drinks too right off the bat. If you're coming, you know what I mean? So how many drunk people can you have on a golf course? Like, and they're not going to pay attention to the car path only thing, even if they have it. You know,
No.
that's gonna
How much was it?
go. $45.
Yeah, they'll make some of it back to replace their course.
Oh yeah, they'll be all right. Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah,
That'll be
that's
dope.
awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. So, and then we're going to Hibachi tomorrow night.
Oh yeah.
Going to the Works in the falls. I've never been there.
Yeah,
but
it's good. It's fun. Yeah.
a lot of like arcade stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's like just like a local Dave Buster's kind of thing.
Yeah.
right?
It's like it's not quite to the level of Dave and
Yeah.
Buster's, but like yeah, it's of that kind of field. Yeah.
My
Is
buddy
that on,
goes
like,
a lot. Over on like Front Street, right?
Front Street.
Yeah.
yeah.
Their food is supposed to be really fucking
It is.
good.
They're good burgers. Yeah.
We tried to get like a reservation to eat there too, and it was too late.
Yeah.
So
Have fun, man. Hibachi's good too.
well, yeah. So you know, living the dream.
Cool.
Happy early birthday.
Appreciate
Happy
you.
early birthday.
Thanks.
I'm not wishing it.
That's all right. It's fine.
I don't do early bird. I do the
It's
day
all
of, and I wish you on your Facebook. That's it.
I
That's it.
appreciate
No
that.
text.
Nope.
No high five. No hugs. No birthday hugs.
There's no early birthdays. Nope.
This guy.
What do you do belated?
No, because I'm always on time. I'm not Jesse.
But what if you're not? What if you forget? What if you got something going on that you're like, oh man,
I don't forget.
Chris makes time.
That's why I'm always on Facebook, because it'll always remind me.
Yeah. I'm bad about that.
Mhm.
I'm real bad about the Facebook notification thing. I can never find it. And then I'm
See,
like,
I
whose
don't-
birthday? I'm bad.
I'm a
don't-
dick when
I'm-
it comes to
I-
Facebook.
me
I
too.
don't. People wish me happy birthday on
Me
Facebook,
too.
and then I don't do the same in return, and
Don't
I feel
reciprocate.
like an asshole.
Yeah.
But the people that, I'm going to sound really bad, but the people that matter to me on a day-to-day basis, I'll let them know through a text message,
Right.
or I'll shoot them a message or something.
Sure.
Cool. So
Yeah.
it don't matter. Awesome. All right.
I told you happy birthday.
I messaged you happy birthday, didn't I?
Damn, Daniel.
I told you on the show. Whatever.
Wow. You do really sound like an asshole now.
Oh fuck it.
No, I'm the same way.
I'll bow out this
I
time.
always forget, and I'm like, fuck. I know that person messaged me or like said it, and I whatever.
No, you
Happy
did.
birthday to everyone on my Facebook page
For the
for
rest
now
of
and
the
for
year.
the foreseeable future. Happy birthday year. All right, what are we? What are we gonna talk about? We had a lot going on. We had a lot of stuff to talk about this week. Do we want to start with anything particular first? Locker room.
I
Let's
jerked the curtain last week.
Yeah, there's a lot of Hollywood, so I said we wait for that one. Let's do locker room talk quick. There's not much there, so we can probably knock it out pretty fast.
Swing and line to deep left field. It is. Boom. 45-40. Run, William, run. 20, 15. Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the
Don't do
This
it.
is
Don't do
locker
it.
room
Don't
talk.
do the peer pressure thing. It's a bad idea.
Do it. Come on.
I'm not doing the fucking gum ever again. I'll tell you.
Is-
That's
is
not
hot
gum.
sauce that
That's
hot?
sauce.
It's
Is it
hot.
that hot though? Yeah.
It's hot.
It's got a kick. Yeah.
You want to try it?
No, sir.
It tickles the tonsils.
Never again. I ate that chip in my whole life.
Ruin.
Never been the same.
Dude,
Yeah.
that video is still great. Though.
man, dude, that was hell.
Your kids are like,
Wait, you did a video?
Yeah, oh man, yeah, like
I remember seeing that.
like when they first came out before this one.
oh,
Me
okay.
and a buddy did it, and it was miserable. We made it the time, but I was using milk as mouthwash for like the next 15 minutes. It was fun.
You made the 5 minutes?
yeah, he
yeah.
did. But he was paying for it, man. Afterwards,
I was miserable.
he was
dude.
crying.
It was terrible. I don't recommend it, but we got through it.
Bro, my stomach was just in knots.
It's the worst.
I was
No,
like,
second.
the gum was bad,
The gum was.
but man, with that chip, like both of them, you're just in physical pain and there's nothing that stops it.
No.
Like it literally nothing helps. It was absolutely
But the chip
awful.
ends in like 15
It
minutes.
took
Like
me a while
the
to
gum,
bust
you're fucked for like the whole night.
Yeah.
Only salvation I had eating that chip is that you had mentioned that in the live thread that it lasts this long. So
Yeah.
like, if I can just get to here,
10
if I can
minutes,
just
right?
get to here,
You think about
it's
that.
gonna go away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on the toilet for hours.
Yeah, the next day was bad. That night,
That
the next
night
day
when
was
I got
bad.
home, I was
Burning.
gonna fall asleep on the toilet. My stomach was just in
Rocked
knots.
your guts.
I was eating Tums like Skittles, like
Oh, yeah.
beforehand.
Oh god.
To be like try and like get ahead of it.
Seeing on the chip, I took a shot of the Pepto-Bismol just to coat my stomach so it wouldn't bother me there. I didn't have that option available to me for the bubble gum. And I think it might have
Mm.
treated my stomach a little bit better, but never again.
It wasn't even so much my stomach.
could do
it's
the
my
chip again.
face.
Oh, the face was bad.
Like with the gum, my entire face was numb.
Yeah.
Like my whole body was tingling.
It hurts in the back of your head.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah. It's miserable.
Not a fan.
What's going on with sports?
Anyways, sports talk.
Sports.
What's going on with sports? Baseball sucks
Nothing.
per usual.
Yep.
So yeah, the MLB strike continues. They officially have announced that spring training's over. We're gonna miss the first two series or first
series.
week
First two
of
series. Yep.
the season at this point, if not more. So that sucks. I mean, it sucks for. I mean,
It sucks for
those
the
businesses
Guardians.
and stuff. And it doesn't suck. Fuck the Guardians.
Well, it was their opening
Yeah, they're missing like
their
their
opening
full-
series.
Wouldn't that be
for-
funny though? Their first season, they don't even get to play.
Yeah, it kind of would be.
We were all joking about that, like all that time and money they spent going
Yeah.
through to like rebrand and then not even a fucking play.
Well,
What a
opening
shit show.
opening day is huge for Cleveland.
Mhm.
Right.
It's like a party.
Yep.
You know, people call off work, take vacation days just
Yep.
for that.
That's what me and Chris were saying post show or like pre show is like even more so than just the sports is all the businesses and stuff that rely on, you know, all of the festivities and stuff that go on with that. I mean, it hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it? The Indians, they didn't put a number on it, but they said they lost like tens of millions of dollars last season.
Insane.
Yeah.
Not having, was it last season they didn't have fans in the stands?
No,
Year
2020.
before.
So
Yeah,
2020.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, they lost tens of million. I think the MLB overall, it was in the billions
Yeah.
of
'Cause
dollars
They only
lost.
played 60 games that season. So yeah.
So you're not, I mean, granted, they got to agree to terms, but not getting the teams out there, you're not making any money.
I tell you
It'd
what,
be worse. Like you said, it's a dying.
it is. Well, it's a dying sport because the way the public perception is right now is that it's millionaires versus billionaires.
Right.
And that's never good in the public eye. Like they never want to define a sport as that. With other sports, you have the salary cap. And that's the big problem with baseball is they don't have that. It's really, you can get as rich as you want to get. They play 162 games a year. So I will say like they have a grueling schedule, but at the same time, you don't have the physicality of football. You don't have the energy of basketball. We'll say the cardio of basketball. So I think the case for baseball, it's very out there and it's very tough because it's already a sport that has the worst PR possible.
I'm going to be that guy for a second though and say, you know that when you go in,
Sure.
you know,
Sure.
that's the amount of games you're going to play. And then that's your job. You're making a shit ton of money. I'm over the like bullshit. Like let's fucking play.
But here's the thing.
Just play.
Name me 3 NBA stars right now.
I don't know.
Come on.
LeBron James,
Who else?
Steph Curry,
Who else?
Larry Bird.
Current.
Oh, current. Hot Rod Williams.
Okay. Anyway, most
Easily.
people,
I know-
most
I know your
people can
point.
name
You
3. Name 3 MLB players right now.
Yeah, I get the point.
Won't
but it's
happen.
Just
Make
play.
it easy. I know 3 MLB players.
Do you? Okay, name 3. That
Shohei Ohtani, Mike.
Of course, you name them fucking MVP.
Well, but that's what I mean. There's enough hype around baseball, but I think what the strike is going to do is it's going to change the layout of baseball forever.
Yeah,
because I don't think that anybody cares about 162 games.
They don't, especially the fans don't.
Right, and so I think what's going to happen is they're going to cut the season down to 80 games.
Yeah, do it.
So now you only got a chance to go to 40 games at home. So you pack the stands on those 40 games because they only have half as many opportunities to see them.
Do it.
But do we need that many games though? I mean, like 80 is sufficient.
I think 80 is fine for summer.
I think that's what it'll be.
Well, what's the NBA's
82.
82?
Same thing.
So even 100 for baseball would be good.
Yeah. You got to think about the areas physical outdoor sport though too. So you got to think about the areas like us. Like 80 is enough. Shorten that season. Make it prime summertime when the weather's nice.
Yeah.
There's plenty of games where it's getting late in the year and it's cold and miserable to be there. Granted,
even
football we do that, but like baseball's an outdoor summer.
How many times have we had snow for opening day?
Oh, tons. Right. Even a month into the season, sometimes some of those early May games are miserable. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, valid points. I my whole thing, when you're just making that much money, it's just hard for me to understand the argument.
But then are they going to start adjusting the contract based on those 80 games or 100 games or whatever?
Make the same amount of money.
So
that's why you got to put a
gonna,
cap on it.
They're not going to make the same amount. They're not going to make 125 million a year.
Until you put a cap on it, it's a damn sport. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I think the way to save baseball is to let everyone do steroids.
Yeah.
Because what I want, like, to make baseball exciting again, I want to see a pitcher throw the ball 105 miles an hour, and I want to watch a guy
beam
throw
someone
500 feet.
Make it a circus.
500 feet over the last wall of the field.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see them hitting nukes.
Well, Brad's got a point because you think about when baseball was at its height, it was during the Sammy Sosa versus Mark McGwire home run chase, the summer of '98. Like, so you look at these two players who were roided up. You could tell even on the field, but fans clamored to that. They liked it because the numbers. They liked it because the spectacle of it all. Two great players in their prime chasing each other back and forth. It hurts to say, but at the same time, like sometimes that's all people need. They just need a gimmick.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with it. We already know we're missing out on the beginning and opening, you know, of the season and stuff. And
spring training's gone.
Spring training's out.
Yeah.
First week's out. We go from there and see. Look, as long as it starts like by summer, I don't go to that many games, but I wouldn't mind going to 1 or 2 during the summer and enjoy it. And whatever else from there, we'll see.
The nice thing is the minor league system still plays through it all. So like if you really want to go watch a baseball game, go watch players that are hungry to play in the Rubber Ducks. You know, I always
got to stand.
I always think it's a good time, and they're the champs. So there you go.
Yeah, you can't sit down though.
When do they change?
BYOC?
Are they still
BYOC.
gone? Are they still gone?
I'm sorry.
The seats?
No, quit fucking starting rumors.
Well,
God damn it.
I knew that I assumed that they were just replacing.
They just
them.
replaced them.
Right.
Yeah. And
They're
people,
gone.
what Dan's alluding to is they raised a big stink online, the community, and they go, oh my God, I'm not going to bring my own chairs. That's stupid. It's your job to bring the chairs and all that. And people actually believe this shit. And they were trolling them like crazy.
It was a great publicity thing though.
Oh yeah.
It's just like those fucking couples, the $5 date or whatever. Bullshit.
Yeah.
It's great. It's marketing. That's what the fucking minor league is for.
Yeah.
It's all that gimmicky shit.
I mean, Rubber Ducks, you know, all the fucking names of those teams are ridiculous. So yeah.
Bring back the arrows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Orbit.
I like the arrows.
Yes.
I think the players should get whatever they want. The strike.
Give them whatever they want.
Whatever they want.
Yeah.
Like you can't get mad at like people are like Amazon doesn't pay their employees a livable wage. And obviously these baseball players are making a lot more than a livable wage.
Yeah.
We understand that.
Yeah.
But these billion-dollar baseball team owners, they're not employing
Except the
100,000
Dolans.
people. Right, yeah, but they're like
They're the cheapest sons of
right,
bitches.
they are mid-market baseball and they're all right with it. They don't care. But yeah, just give the players whatever they want. They're the one making the money for you anyway. Get rid of the baseball players, it's over.
I mean, the contract minimum is $750,000. If you're the worst player in baseball, you're making $750,000.
It's insane.
Right. And like I said, they're obviously making great money,
Mm-hmm.
but these team owners would have nothing if it wasn't for these people. Like there's a drastic difference in playing in the majors and playing for the Akron Rubber Ducks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You still have a job as the Rubber Ducks. You have to go do a 9 to 5.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what happens when these players continue to strike and they say, "Fuck it, we're gonna bring them up from the minor league."
Then you got the replacement sequel.
We're
right there.
still gonna go see them. I mean, people just want to go play fucking baseball. They want to just be outside and enjoy the game.
Yep.
So if these players hold on long enough, that could happen.
Yeah. I think
potentially it could happen.
Canal Park's gonna be packed. I have a feeling because they can't go see Indians games, so they got to get it somewhere else.
But it would ruin baseball to bring kids up from the minors.
Guardians.
Yeah.
Strike, like it would ruin baseball's already dying.
Yeah.
So to bring up minor league players and expect them to get the revenue that the actual professional baseball players generate is
Yeah.
For sure.
We shall see how it unfolds in the next couple weeks, and we'll make sure we keep you updated on that.
No season from this prediction right here.
No season at all?
No season this year.
Wow. Daniel, what do you think?
I think it'll be shortened.
Shortened half season, like an 80 gamer?
Well, it's already shortened.
Yeah.
Right.
It's gonna stick to, that. Brad, what do you think?
Yeah, I think after the break would have been like after the All-Star break. I think that's when we resume baseball. Probably.
Okay. So 1 no season and 2
It's bold.
shortened seasons. This wasn't on the list, but this came through, and I gotta address this because this is interesting. We don't ever talk soccer on here, but this thing came through ESPN. U.S. Soccer Federation Board of Directors bans anti-gay chants at all matches it hosts or sanctions. That's a thing?
Anti-gay.
Is that like a thing at soccer? Like, are there anti-gay chants at soccer games?
Probably.
Like,
I don't know.
Are they chanting the F word over and over again?
I don't understand what chant happens at any sport event that's like anti-gay. I'm just confused by that as a whole, that they needed to ban that and make that like a rule or a law that you can't have an anti-gay chant at a soccer game.
But football, totally on.
It's just weird though. Have you ever been at a sporting event or seen in the news ever that there was like anti-gay chants going on at a sporting event?
I can't think of any.
I missed something that goes on with the story.
Maybe years and years and years ago when,
For sure.
when they freely used some of those words, but
Oh, when they chant Baker, that's
anyways. I just saw that and I was confused. I'm like, I'll make sure you guys know. You know anything about any anti-gay chants going on?
I've never.
I don't watch soccer.
did you see?
I didn't watch soccer either, but I mean, like, I think you'd see something on the
You'd hear at least something about
Facebook
it.
or
It
something,
almost
right?
sounds like they're pandering.
right.
Was it
like-
was it the Chelsea football team? Like the owner sold his team,
Yeah.
and is using
The
was
Russia.
Is it Chelsea?
Yeah.
I can't remember what.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sold his team, and he's using like all the money that he made
Always
through
donating.
selling. He's donating
saw
it
that.
to fight Russia.
He's arming the Ukrainians
Yeah.
with the money.
That's
Pretty
crazy.
Pretty wild. Yeah. But yeah, that wasn't on there, but it just came through as we were talking. And I was like, this is interesting. One of the things that we do have that is soccer related though is Katie Myers. So she played for Stanford. This is a subject to me that we've talked about on here several times, and I just still always will never understand. But her parents, I guess, have come out and stated that her death was suicide. This was very recent. And that is just one thing that it strikes me really deep, that people go through that, like that's all as an out to whatever you're going through. Now, this is just all at the top and what we see, but I mean, a good-looking girl. She's the captain of the soccer team. Seems like she's got everything going for her, and it's all that sub-level stuff that you don't know that's going on that pushes people to this limit. And it's sad to me that no one, 22 years old, kills herself. I mean, that's just awful. It's one of those things that we have to just continue to talk about and make sure people know that they have a support system. There's people there for them. Suicide hotlines, talk to your friends, whatever it is. Like, why? How do you get to that level and there's no one there? No one within your inner circle knows or can help you get through that.
Well, I can't speak on her particular situation, but as somebody that suffers from depression, I can tell you that a lot of the times you don't want to bother other people with it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to come across as being the one that sounds like a complainer or a whiner about, issues when it comes to stuff. So it's very hard to have that conversation with anybody. And I think, it's one of the things that we have to work on, unfortunately, as a environment or as a society. We just need to make it okay and acceptable that this is kind of the status quo.
Yep. But I think that's where we exactly to that point of you feeling like, not you specifically, but even, other people that feel this way in general, that you feel like you're a burden. We have to make it clear I even tell strangers, I'll see people on Instagram or Facebook that I'm not friends with that might post something, and I'll direct message them and just say, hey, I know we don't really know each other, but if you ever need to talk to someone, like reach out, or here's resources. Like we need to talk about it more often,
Mhm.
just as a whole, and in our friend groups and family and stuff, that let people know that it's not a burden. Like that's what friends and family are for. Like we are here to support each other. I would never want you to ever feel like it's a burden if you're going through something, you know, like that's what friendship is. You know, you have to care and let people know that you're here to support them. Like I hate seeing stories about suicide. I hate it, especially in like very young, like someone like this who has their life ahead of them, success ahead of them. In veterans, it drives me insane, like that they go through that and then they have nowhere to turn and they commit suicide. The suicide rate is insane. But just talk about it. Let people know, let your friends know. This stuff should not be happening. 22 years old. And I mean, as a parent of that, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine going through that. It's awful. But I saw that it's just disheartening to me. It's not everything is when you see at face value.
Yeah,
you know, you
right.
got to see under what else is going on there.
Especially when it comes to athletes, we look at them as these almost superhero like entities, you know, in front of us every week on our TV screens. But at the end of the day, they're really just humans, just like we are. You know, there's no difference from watching, you know, Tiger Woods or Tom Brady. You know, these are guys that are human at the end of the day. They break down, they cry, they have emotions.
Yeah.
It's their job. Like just like we have jobs, it's their job. They got to go out and perform and do the job. If you're feeling on a down day, you still got to go to work.
Yeah.
So I think with athletes in general, like they have that image, they feel they have that image of themselves that they can't portray anything different than that.
Yeah.
And they stay quiet because they don't want somebody to know.
No,
And I think they hold a little more pressure than the rest of us at times.
And I think an interesting companion piece to this discussion is when we had that talk almost a year ago about that tennis star that was kind of going through the same thing. And she opted out of the tour. She was one of the best tennis players in the world. Yep. And she said she didn't want to deal with, you know, the pressure,
the mental health,
the cameras and all that. Yeah. And I thought, you know, it's the same thing here too.
Yep.
Athletes are people.
Yep. Just got to talk about it. I mean, one, it's awful that person's going through it. Two, I never want to be, I mean, I've lost lots of friends. Sadly, it's mostly been like tragic accidents or drugs, not suicide that I can think of. I never want to be the recipient of that. I never want to know one of my friends killed themselves and didn't feel like they could come to me and talk about it. Yeah. You know, like that's just got to be the most awful feeling as parents to know or not know that your daughter was going something that they felt that was their only way out. I can't imagine that. I just cannot imagine that.
The closest people to her didn't feel like they were clued in on her life enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awful. Yeah. So, but yeah, we talk about it on here a lot when it comes to that sort of stuff. Just be there and make sure that you're vocal about it and do what you can. You know, there are resources out there. If it's anonymous and you don't feel comfortable coming to family because you're embarrassed or friends because you're embarrassed, there's anonymous hotlines and stuff for it. Make sure you seek the help you need. You know, it's nothing to be ashamed of or embarrassed about. People go through a lot of hard things and not everyone knows about it, you know? So anything else for sports? I mean, there wasn't really much sports to talk about. I just wanted to address her, you know, thoughts with the family and friends and stuff.
Just real quick, Ohio State wide receiver Chris Olave ran a 4.2640 yesterday.
Yeah.
He has a brother in the NFL,
which raises his draft stock a bunch.
Yeah.
Does he have an NFL brother?
No.
Okay.
No.
I saw some like meme or something about like a NFL player watching their brother run like the 40 or something, and they were like blown away. I wasn't sure if that's the same story or not.
But it looks like the Browns will probably take a Buckeye receiver.
That's what they were saying. So they asked him, like, Olave, if he was, you know, comfortable going to the Browns and all that. He said, well, yeah, to stay in Ohio, you know, and that hometown crowd.
And Garrett Wilson might still be the better pick than Olave. I know Olave bumped his draft stock up here, but you know, Garrett Wilson's still a pretty incredible receiver.
Speed's great. You know, it really is, but it isn't everything. You know, at the end of the day, it's hands, it's control, it's mental temperament, you know, a lot of the time. I think Garrett is the better pick personally, but I wouldn't be surprised if they take Olave.
Unfortunately, Baker will be throwing him the ball, so
it's not going to matter.
Well, I was going to ask you guys about that.
Yeah, so
I was going to ask you about that because I keep seeing stories going around about, you know, he's probably going to be the starter. He's probably going to be still with them. They're probably not going to go with a veteran. I mean, obviously, you know, I don't follow the Browns closely, but do you guys think that there's any chance that the Browns will look elsewhere, or they're sticking with Baker?
I think that they have to stick with Baker right now just because he had such a bad year and they're claiming it was the injury. So if they were to just be like, now we're going a different route.
Right.
So it wasn't the injury. It was just Baker's an average quarterback.
Yeah. They don't want to look like that.
Right.
I can side with that opinion. I feel like it's Baker's year for another year for sure. I think the tough thing though is that there's no year like this year where there is the options to go out and maybe get somebody else. If you're willing to spend, there's definitely a litany of quarterbacks out there that I think are better than Baker Mayfield and that you have a better chance of winning with.
Yeah.
It's up to them though. If they're bought into the system and they said, hey, we're giving this kid another year, give him another year. But I feel like if he doesn't do it this year, you have to learn to cut the cord, man.
Yeah.
Like you have to realize when a loss is a loss.
What's your guys' opinions on it? So my opinion, no hate to the Browns or anything. I like Baker as a person. Like I like his charisma. I think he's exciting. Like he has a lot of energy and stuff to him. But if I'm like rating him as a quarterback, I don't think he's top echelon, top tier. I think he is an average quarterback. I don't think that they've got anything super special in him. Is he one of the better quarterbacks to play for the Browns? Yeah, probably. They haven't had that many great quarterbacks, but he's nothing super special.
If you're talking, so there's 32 teams, you're talking first tier, second tier, third tier. My honest opinion on Baker Mayfield is he's low second tier. Like he's somewhere in that like 18, 19 range.
Wow.
Honestly, that's always been my opinion. I think he's an okay quarterback. He's enough to win the job there.
Right.
But on a majority of these other teams, he would not be the starting quarterback.
Wow.
No.
Dan, you Pokemoning over there?
No,
Jesse?
I found a story, couple about the Steelers, through Facebook. But
what's your opinion on Baker while you're stealing it up?
I think they have to stick with them right now. They don't really have another solid option, but
Top tier, average, below
average,
middle of the road. Like
he's not a top tier.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing is that people like were so hyped on Baker that they had people believing that OBJ was a bad wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he went to LA and showed out, scored the first touchdown in the Super Bowl.
8 touchdowns in as many games.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And they blamed it on Odell.
Yeah.
That he was the problem. And Baker is the problem. He had one above average year where he had an incredible defense and they beat the Steelers.
Yeah.
And then now he's back to regular old Baker, like the Baker that was there before.
And the thing is, you have to realize that franchise. So once in a while, every franchise can, sun shines on a dog's ass. Like literally you will have that one good season out of 20. And I think that's what the Browns did. And fans fell in love with that season. They wanted to embrace it. They thought they were contenders the whole way, just like Cavs fans are thinking right now too. It's you have one good season and you want to run for the hills. Don't. It's not, they're not a deep team.
Yeah.
They're not elite yet.
Yeah. If anybody that's ever listened to this show before, or at least in recent 6 months, will know me and Chris have talked about this time and time again about OBJ, and neither of us, I think we were both in agreement. OBJ wasn't the problem. I've always stated many times the chemistry between Baker and OBJ was not there.
Yes.
But OBJ as himself was a great player. My only thing I ever had to say about him negative was that I think he's a diva. I think the way he handled the situation wasn't great. He kept lying and saying, "Oh, I want to be here. I want to be here. I'm not going anywhere." But then there was shit going on behind the scenes. Like, I don't have anything against him. I think he's a great football player. I think it's terrible what happened to him in the Super Bowl. His career is probably pretty shaky going forward now, but never had anything as far as like he's the problem on the team.
Yeah.
There just was a lack of chemistry between the two of them where like for some reason they could not connect, when it came to, I always kind of hinted at like, I don't know if Baker felt like a pressure having him on the team because he was like
it's an obligation,
a top tier.
He's
like,
a
I have
superstar.
to throw to him, and like it wasn't there.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, Baker's specialty is not the long ball. I think everybody is going to agree on that, at least around this table. Baker's specialty, he's not a long ball quarterback. He's a dink and dack option where he throws short and he'll get you a pass here and there, maybe 5 yards, 6 yards down the stretch. But like, I'm not trusting him to throw deep to the Odell option. And I think that's why we shared a common opinion to where Odell wasn't a good fit for this offense particularly. And I said that even when Cleveland had won, 10 games or 11 games that year, I said, he's not a good fit and he needs to be gone. He needs to leave this team, like go somewhere where you're the focus of the portrait.
Right. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. I think the Browns just, are the Browns. I don't think that ever changes.
And they're not getting Amari Cooper, for the record. Amari's going to the Eagles.
Yeah.
You think?
Yes. I know how things work as a Cowboy fan.
Did you see anything about Zeke?
As far
From what I read, that the Steelers have their eye on him as a possibility of.
I don't think we get rid of him.
No?
Not yet. I think that the fan base wants to get rid of him hardcore. Not myself, but like the fan base does. I don't think management is willing to get rid of Zeke in the same way they're willing to get rid of Amari. They have to shave $20 million this year, and that was perfect for Amari because he's due $20 million this year.
Yeah.
So they shave him. They don't have to lose any other players. They can draft a wide receiver like they always do in the draft, something sexy, some great pick, and fill that hole. Unfortunately,
Fill that sexy
shut
hole.
up.
Fill that hole.
With that crop top.
Shut up.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens this next season. Steelers, we're going to be in a tough spot, obviously.
Did you wish
after last
Ben
year.
Roethlisberger happy
Happy
birthday
birthday?
yesterday?
Yeah, man. That's my boy. I wrote him personally.
Was he
Called him on
I
the
called
phone.
him.
40?
Called him on the phone. 39, I think.
39.
Yeah.
What else did I see? They might re-sign Juju.
I hope. I would like
I think
them
like
to.
a $40 million contract, 40 to 50.
I like
That's a
Juju.
lot of money.
I don't even think you don't think he's worth that?
No, I don't think he is. I think that
Huh?
they're gonna be struggling with a quarterback this year, and
You got to figure that out
yeah,
first.
I've got to.
So you
Yeah.
think you get rid of Juju though in a season?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like you have to figure out who's throwing them first. Then you figure out that
Rudolph.
other problem.
And if
I mean,
No.
not that I want it,
Get
but
rid of
he
Juju.
is.
then you're overpaying for
Yeah.
a wide receiver that's not going to get the ball enough.
Yeah,
with
get
him.
rid
Yeah.
of them.
Mason Rudolph would be like a check down guy.
Jimmy G.
Fuck, man.
No, I don't like Jimmy Garoppolo. I've always said I'm not. It's a step up from Mason or from.
A step up?
It's a
Come
step.
on.
It's a leap.
Jimmy
I don't
G
like Jimmy
more-
Garoppolo.
give
I
him
honestly
more
don't
cr-
like him.
A step up from Rudolph?
The guy cannot throw the fucking long ball. I'm telling you.
Bro, that is a disrespect.
Okay.
Bro, we're talking Rudolph. Mason Rudolph.
Yeah,
Rudolph
I
can
know.
throw the long ball.
I
But
said he was a
can't do
step up.
anything else.
Christ. I said he was a step up. I'm not going to say he's 5 steps up. He's not the savior.
Two or three.
Jimmy Garoppolo is not a great quarterback, guys. He's, again, middle of the road, 14th, 13th.
Where do you rank Rudolph?
60,
Bottom of the road?
67.
That would be probably
Maybe.
32nd. Yeah.
Jeez. You hate Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, you tell me what he's done and I'll float you
A
on.
lot more than Mason, that's for sure. Anyways,
Hasn't had an opportunity.
he's had his well, anyways, let's not talk Mason. I hate that guy. I'm ready to. They're not gonna do anything. They're not gonna do anything. We're gonna be stuck with him. It's gonna suck.
It's a bad idea.
Steelers could get Deshaun Watson, carry on Ben's legacy.
Let's do it.
Are you willing to risk it all for that? You know, that's the question.
Yeah, see, I don't see that option. No.
They have to settle that case first, man. Whatever's going on, that's a lot to hang over the head. He's not going to play right away until that's settled. You'll have him in your back pocket, but you're wasting money away for someone that's going to sit on the bench.
Right.
If he plays, I'm absolutely with you.
By the way, it was allegedly Dick.
What was that? I heard they're putting a gold statue in women's bathrooms at Heinz Field for the rest of the
I hope they do. I wouldn't mind looking at Ben. He's a decent looking guy. Give me a gold statue.
How is that still like everybody's
That's
go-to?
all Browns fans. Can
That's
say.
everybody's
It's like,
go-to.
Dude,
it's like
people are
super valid.
People are still calling Robert
It's not
Pattinson the
valid if
Twilight
it's
actor.
alleged.
Okay.
It's not valid if it's alleged.
Well, everything's alleged with enough money.
Oh my god, this guy. You want to talk locker room talk? I mean, let's get social.
Let's get locker room.
Let's get locker roomed up.
It is July 20th, 1969, and man is about to land on the moon.
Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
That's the way the news goes.
Hey, everyone rolled their eyes at George Bush, but at least he did something.
I think I'm gonna shit my pants.
You gotta go.
I drank this
You
too
had
fast.
ice cream, bro.
This dude is
You-
aggressive.
Dan, just
is
by the way,
unreal.
Dan just committed an act of terror by having that milkshake because he's gonna gas us all out of this room
Yeah, sorry guys.
in like 10 minutes. It's gonna be
I
awful.
went fast too.
Good lord, man.
Let me know if I need to clear a path.
You're
All right.
gonna need to just clear
Oh,
something.
one of the items I got in that pallet was a portable toilet. I should have brought
Should
it.
have brought it with you. Oh, Daniel. All right. Locker room, or let's get social. We got two things. One's a follow-up per usual. This is probably I don't know how many episodes we're going to have. It's going to be our new COVID, but
it's our thing.
It's our thing. Ukraine and Russia, they're still at war. Imagine that. As Dan alluded to earlier, there's people that are assisting or trying to assist in aiding Ukraine and their defense against Russia. We got a soccer guy donating money.
Like the whole world is pretty much
everyone.
Most of them.
There's somebody donating ammunition. Like
I did see that guy too.
Holy crap!
He was donating $1 million or 1 million rounds of ammunition.
Yeah.
French is donating a lot too.
Look, they last night, I think it was last night or early this morning, they were bombing that nuclear power plant there. Yeah. And like, why are we not stopping them? If that core blows and we have another fucking Chernobyl, Europe's fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are we doing?
The second you get involved, that's you've definitely declared for world war.
I mean, even if it's not us, if I'm Europe, I'm getting involved because otherwise, you're fucked.
It's funny though, because we were on different sides of this argument just like a week ago, like when we were talking about this.
Look, at this point, things have changed.
Yeah.
Because my thing before was nuclear war. At this point, you're either going to have a nuclear bomb dropped or you're going to have a nuclear war because your nuclear power plant explodes and you're fucked. You do something. I mean, you can't sit around and do nothing at this point. They're going to be fucked.
It's gotten to that point where they've agreed to ceasefires in certain zones to allow your people safe passage across the border.
Yeah.
That is a problem.
Yeah.
Like that is, if that doesn't say war all over it, then like you're well, I don't know. I can't fathom what's going on over there right now. What's going through their head.
The Russians will cease fire now that they've taken control of that place. I mean, yeah, you won't catch fire now for sure.
Well, they had their couple talks and it was like they were going to cease fire or they were going to negotiate and then nothing came of it. They had their one talk and then literally that night they're fucking bombing the nuclear power plant.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a fucking mess.
The talks aren't doing anything. That's ultimately the thing. Like, you can have these talks and send hope to people, but at the end of the day, the Russians have already said, Putin's already said, it's full steam ahead.
Yeah.
We're doing this until we take over.
All the talks are is Putin's way of like working through while they're talking. He's still fucking pushing forward.
Yes.
They took over Kiev or however you pronounce it. They pretty much have taken over that city at this point. I mean, they've taken all the major cities, I think, at this point. So there's no good hope of Ukraine withstanding it anymore without someone stepping in. Did anybody watch State of the Union? Me and Dan watched it. Did you guys all watch it?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on Biden's take? So, I mean, we talked sanctions on the first episode that we talked about this war. And it was kind of mixed feelings about it, but as far as like who it hurts and who it helps, the only thing that I've seen that's really come from it as far as seemingly helping the situation is that the two richest like billionaires there in Russia are asking for them to stop because they're losing so much money. Mm-hmm. One of these rich people put a $1 million bounty on Putin's head.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, they put a bounty out for him because they're like, fucking stop the war.
Jesus, man.
So the sanctions are working in the essence of it's turning the people against him, even though for the most part they didn't want this war. Anyways, the rich people are now turning against him because they're actually losing money.
Almost 1,000 people have been arrested now because of protests.
And kids. They're jailing kids, I think 3 years and adults like 8 years for protesting.
Yeah.
If you're fucking going after children, you're a fuck. But in the State of the Union, Biden messaged or notated that evening that we were sending ships, sending planes, sending troops. We were going to basically send aid to the surrounding UN nations or UN countries. So if things continue to excel, we would already be there.
But we're not going to fight with Ukraine. We're not going to fight this war with
We're
them.
Basically there to support the UN if things excel outside Ukraine.
NATO.
They go further. Yep.
What are your guys' thoughts on? We don't have to talk whole State of the Union. I mean, I watched it all. Me and Dan watched it all. I'm not pro Biden. I'm not pro Trump. I actually make fun of Biden a lot because I think he's a buffoon. I didn't hate it though. I think he talked about a lot of good things. But as far as the war goes, that was the first thing he opened up with. What is your guys' take on his thoughts? And
well, he called them Iranians.
He did have a couple flubs where he said Iranians. Okay. The guy's he's like 90.
Yeah.
Come on.
To emotion.
Give him a little credit.
He was just fired up.
He was fired up.
Yeah,
that was
I like the energy.
Yeah.
He dedicated probably 10 or 15 minutes to it. But anyways, around the room, who wants to start? What were your guys' thoughts on, you don't have to talk the whole thing, but his opening speech about bringing us together, the Ukrainian-Russian war, all that? Dan?
Me?
Sure. Pressure's on you.
No, I thought it was well spoken, but for the most part, but like, if you read into the reason why this is all going on, the U.S. had a hand in it anyway. So
my boy, I'm so proud of him.
Always.
So
Sadly.
and that makes you realize that we have our hand in a lot of decisions that are made worldwide, and it's not truly to benefit everybody else. It's to benefit the U.S. and that makes us a powerful country too. But I just think, I don't know. I'd like for us not to keep our hands in it. I know they need the support. Give the support. I like that you saying that we're not going to fight the war for them, but they need help.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Yeah,
they're not going to be in existence.
You made one point, which we kind of talked about, I think maybe during the State of the Union. When we talked this first, we were torn, and part of me being torn was like, I feel this one's different than like the Middle Eastern war, because that I felt we had a hand in, and it was very obvious we had a hand in. And in this one, before further research, seemed like this was to help the little guy because they actually needed help and it had nothing to do with us. Then read more about it, and as Dan alluded to, as with everything, our hands in fucking everything. Yeah. You know, we always have something going on. This was more in the past, but it still kind of determines, you know, our where we go. Chris, what are your thoughts on you know, his talk about it, where we go now? What do you think?
It's a great speech. It's really great speech. I mean, it was
no sarcasm there.
No, I know there's no sarcasm. No, like it was a great speech.
Oh, okay.
It was a great,
very sarcastic.
On my mom's life, it was a great speech. It was a speech.
Yeah.
It was a speech. It's the same thing that every president has done since the beginning of time. But
so what do you want him to do then?
I want him to fulfill his promises. The problem is a lot of the things that he promised, specifically the cancer thing.
Well, no. We're talking just the first 10 minutes about the war.
Oh,
that
so
was just, yeah. What do you want him to do about that? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, the war, I've said since the beginning, the end game of this all, and sadly nobody wants to admit it, the end game is, regardless whether we want to or not, Russia's going to take over Ukraine. That's the bottom line. It's going to happen. The only way it wouldn't happen is if we went on the ground and fought hand-to-hand combat. If we got involved with it, it wouldn't happen. Other than that, Ukraine doesn't have the army to sustain Russia's power.
Yeah.
Just reality. What I want Biden to do, just do what you're doing, I guess. So if you don't want to fight on the war, like if you don't want to be on the ground and all that, just send, you know, money, send weapons, send what you want. I think, you know, blocking the border is fine. You know, you definitely want to secure that in case they go further. I don't think Russia will. If they do, they're really fucking stupid at that point.
Yeah.
Taking over Ukraine's one thing. Taking over NATO countries is a whole fucking other thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, par for the course.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he's sending the aid to the UN essentially.
Yeah.
And then he'd agreed to Russian flights, no Russian flights in or out, and then no fly zone for any. Yeah, so no fly zone for any Russian flights, and canceled any flight that was coming in the country from Russia. And no one can fly out to Russia.
And that joined a bunch of other countries too. There's a lot of restriction on flight paths and stuff for
which again at this point fucks them all on an economic standpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really fucked at this point. I mean, their money's worth nothing.
The people are going to be fucking out on the streets. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So economically, the country is going to be, and that's going to take time to recover from. So we've taken our stance there to hope it puts pressure on him to make an effort to stop. I don't see that stopping him.
No.
It's just going to prevent them from getting further supplies and materials that they need, depending on how long this goes. I don't know what their stockpile is, but Brad, thoughts? Where do you see? You haven't been on the show to talk about where you land with U.S. getting involved in foreign wars, or you know what you think Biden should or shouldn't do. What's your take on this kind of thing?
So I have like a mixed opinion about things, because like Ukraine decided to leave the treaty they had with Russia, like willingly left the treaty they had with Russia that said Russia would not invade them. Ukraine willingly left. So, I mean, I understand you want your freedom, but freedom comes with consequences. Like there's a price to be paid, and I understand that they're going to lose.
You want that freedom, you have to fight for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think we should, but also we are America, and we are like the nation of like fuck around and find out. Like that is, you know what I mean? That is our military. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And someone's got to call Putin's bluff sooner or later.
Well, that's the only thing that stops it.
Yeah, because he constantly threatens the nuclear war, and so it's either going to come down to Putin's just going to take over all the little countries around him and going to turn it back into the Soviet Union, or somebody's going to stop him.
The scary thing, like as to where we are with Ukraine right now, is because their country has taken over 2 of these nuclear power plants already. That's already enough to instill fear that they have such an advantage already in Ukraine. So like they can purposely sabotage that fucking power plant and destroy that country for eons to come. So I think if you were going to strike, it's almost like you had to strike when the first day happened, when you had when they were just crossing over in the border, then you fucking come back and you say, like we're here, we're a presence, all that. I agree with what you're saying as far as, if there's a war to get involved with, it's almost someone like Putin, who is definitely the bully of our time, without question. You have to punch a bully in the face. That's the way it is. And I feel like Ukraine doesn't have the power to do that. Other places have the power to do that.
Our issue is that this bully has fucking nuclear weapons.
That's the problem.
That's the big issue.
And that's why people are afraid to step to him, because he's a madman. And if he has those nukes, he will set them off on his way down.
Right. A desperate man will do crazy things.
That was gonna be my question. I mean, what's your gain at this point? Like, do you go back to your country? And I mean, I don't foresee any outcome of this where Putin continues, I don't want to say live, but I mean, regardless of retreating or not, he's done. I mean, he's either going to be assassinated, he's going to be arrested for war crimes, or he's going to be killed. I don't think there's any scenario, nuclear or not, where he goes back to rule Russia and continues a lifestyle within that country. I don't foresee that being possible at this point.
The problem is he has the Kremlin in his back pocket.
He has Russia in his back pocket. But at this point going forward, we're either going to bomb the fuck out of Russia. Europe's going to bomb the fuck out of Russia.
If we get involved.
He's going to, even Europe. Like, I mean, do you foresee any outcome, regardless of U.S. involvement in it or not, where this war ends and Putin just continues to rule under any normal circumstance? I mean, do you foresee the end of this war with Putin still in power and Russia continuing to push forward? Or do you think he gets taken out via assassination, bombed, or arrested?
If they stop in Ukraine, yes, I think he's still in power.
And you think that no one move forward?
Yeah. Yes.
I think he'd prove to his people that, we were here to take that country, we took it, we're better for it. That's where he'll gain
How will
his
he
following.
prove that though? They don't want anything to do with it.
They don't, because they're not at the front lines fighting it. They're sitting in Moscow protesting it because they don't want to see innocent people dying. But the big picture is they're expanding their rule, Russia's rule, and he'll be looked at as a better leader for that. I don't think he'll be taken out, assassinated, arrested. He'll continue on. Again, if he goes beyond Ukraine, that's a different story.
And perception in Russia is about as good as perception in our mini golf league. It's like, look, you control the media,
right?
You determine what goes on there.
Right.
So like you can come across as Mother Teresa,
yeah,
to those many people, and they go, wow, he's right. We were there for a good reason. Meanwhile, the rest of the nation is going, this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't foresee a continuation of rule from him.
Really?
After this.
So like even if he just takes over Ukraine, he says, okay, we're going home now.
We're not just going to stop. There's no way. I mean, he's committed so many war crimes at this point that, I mean, he has to be held accountable one way or another.
You mean we as in the U.S. and
not even just the U.S. I mean,
Europe and all that, they're going to continue to go after him?
I believe that even if he stops in Ukraine, that the UN is obligated to prosecute for war crimes against them. So whether, I don't know what that outcome, I mean, I don't think that necessarily means we assassinate him, but I don't think he continues to rule. I think he will be, he'll be sent to the world court and he'll have to answer for his crimes, and he's not going to go easy. So it's just going to continue to go on. I don't foresee it just ending at Ukraine. There's too much that he is committed at this point that he has to answer for. But we'll see. I mean, obviously I don't think any of us know everything that's going on, but I don't foresee a continuation of him being the president. Is that what they call it? I don't even know what his title is, but
So do you think he just goes into hiding?
I think he'll attempt to go into hiding. Obviously, unlike Ukraine's president, who's there taking his oath to heart and fighting for his people and for his country, Putin's sitting at a fucking table, keeping his distance from his own people, probably out of fear of being assassinated.
Sure.
And he hasn't done anything. He's a keyboard warrior. He's not doing anything to actually facilitate other than commanding. And much like Hitler, they're just afraid of him. The German people have wanted nothing to do with the war, World War II. They wanted nothing to do with the Holocaust, but they were all terrified that if they tried to go against Hitler, that they would all just be assassinated on the spot, many of which tried to assassinate him. And with his lookalikes and shit, they never were successful. I foresee the same thing with Putin. I think he's going to try and escape. He's going to try and go into hiding. But ultimately, like you said earlier, you don't get past the U.S. I mean, we find a way one way or another. We sneak in and assassinate him. We find him in hiding. I'm all for taking him out. I mean, the dude's a terrorist. It's not going to stop.
Saying I want him to live, but
I'm just saying he's not going to stop at Ukraine. He succeeds in Ukraine, then he's like, well, no one stopped me doing this. Why not move forward?
So you don't think he stops there? Okay.
And even if he does, I don't foresee us just rolling over and saying, okay, what you did is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that happening. It sets a very wrong precedent if we allow that to happen and do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
As the U.S., as a world power.
That's the thing is if it did matter, the U.S. would have been on the front lines
from
with
day
Ukraine.
one.
Yeah. They're not gonna if Russia takes over Ukraine, I still don't think that they're gonna go after him. If he stops there, the problem's gonna lie is if he continues on into the UN nations and NATO and crossing those borders.
I think if you had the legislation signed of them going to be a NATO country, Ukraine being NATO or being part of the Eastern Union, I think then you'd have a different ballgame altogether. From day one, that shit would not have happened. America would have been there and said, stop
absolutely.
right now.
Right. They just don't have allies.
Yeah. You just you are literally out there on your own right now. That's why the rest of the world, they're like, well, we feel bad for them, but there's legally nothing we can do.
Yeah. My thing is after this ends, the war ends and he's done in Ukraine, we're obligated to take him to court for the war crimes. It's in, I have to look it up and we can talk about it on the next episode, but there's actually something in law where he has to be held accountable for it. I don't know who is the one that does it, but someone is responsible for doing it.
Well, I vote for years above all else, but
I mean, granted,
right,
that's just, I'm not saying that your opinion doesn't mean that's what you want to happen. That's what you believe. And that's all I'm asking, what you guys think your outcome is. Yeah. I just believe, just based on our history, I don't think we roll over on it. I don't think that happens. Hopefully it doesn't turn into another war, like including with our people. I'm over it. We've been at war for the last 25 years.
If you pursue him, it will.
Yeah. The last thing we need is another one, but I don't think that he should get off scot-free by any means.
So that somebody's getting very, very rich off of what's happening right now.
Oh, sure.
Always.
That 10%'s a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
They're saying that North Korea is still testing weapons, long range missiles and everything while all this is going on.
Yep.
While everybody's focused on that, they're still out there.
Well, and the weapons test on sometime this week they were doing missile launches.
They're the ones that terrify me. But we did you hear about us too? Like we were planning a missile launch sometime last week and we canceled it because of everything going on. I was like, yeah, probably would have done that too.
At least we were smart about it.
Yeah.
Though. I mean, you said they think that we're attacking them or something. That's all we need.
That's how the Cold War kept escalating. It was misconception back and forth over and over again, mistrust, and that led to bigger bounties.
Yeah. You said you're more terrified of Korea?
Yeah, North Korea.
Really?
Yeah. So look, Putin's a madman too. Absolutely. I think Kim Jong-un and his fucking sister are off their fucking rockers. I mean, if you think Putin's bad, this guy, you might as well say is fucking gaga.
Yeah. I think he is as well. My only difference of opinion is Putin's actually done something. Mm-hmm. Kim Jong-un talks a big game, but he's never actually done anything. Mm-hmm. Whereas Putin's been talking about this for a while, and he actually fucking did something about it.
They both have the proximity.
I was gonna say, is Putin setting a precedent for a response from Kim Jong-un.
My point exactly. That where I don't think that this just ends with us doing nothing, because then we set that precedent that we're not going to get involved.
Right.
Because you got away with it. There's no way that we're going to just sit over and not do something
For the war for Taiwan, you're saying, and all that, as far as
because as soon as Putin does this and we don't do anything, that just opens the door for Korea to do the same thing.
Yep.
There's no way.
It does. And that's the choice that Biden and the US have to make. It's that, how much are you willing to risk to go enough's enough?
Mm-hmm. I was honestly somewhat surprised by Biden. I felt like he held his ground well. I mean, someone writes these speeches for him, but the emotion was there. He seemed to stand up for what he basically said that we're not going to roll over, and more or less that, I mean, we're going to send aid. I don't think he's openly going to say on TV that we're going to war with Russia. We're sending aid to the UN. I don't think he was going to announce on the State of the Union, where Putin's back in Russia watching it, that we're going to war. But we're going to do something. I'd be shocked if we don't. I don't know. Anyways, you were saying something, and then I think we cut you off.
Oh yeah. Somehow this war all the way over there is just raising our gas prices.
Right.
Which is crazy to me. And it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. I cannot see how this makes sense.
Anytime there's any kind of war, I agree with you. I don't know the fluctuations, but anytime there's war, everything fucking goes to shit. Prices go through the roof.
Because uncertainty.
The uncertainty, the fear, stock market fucking crashes. We don't know what our supply chains from that over there is gonna happen. It's fucking stupid.
If anything, this should lower our gas prices.
You would think.
Right? So we get.
Oh, we rely on foreign oil too much.
Yeah.
Well,
if we only had a pipeline that we could break into on our own soil.
Well,
wait.
The Keystone Pipeline wasn't American oil, and we only import 7% of our crude oil from Russia.
You don't say.
Which is nothing. Yep. And now Russia's economy is crippled. So as where oil's $105 a barrel right now, why don't we just come up and be like, listen, we'll give you $20 or $20 a barrel, or you're still broke.
Right.
Fucking give them Pawn Star style, man.
Right. Best I could do is $20.
Right.
And they have to take it to continue this military press.
Yeah.
So then we keep buying from them, because that's what we do as Americans. We look for the best deal, like with whatever it might be, a new pair of shoes, you're looking for the best deal. So why don't we continue to do the same thing with our oil, and then it actually benefits somehow? Vladimir Putin's crazy, and I'm paying $4 a gallon for gas.
Yeah.
Right.
But in Biden's State of the Union address, he said, we're going to minimize the effects at home.
They're opening up 800,000 barrels
of our own. Yeah. We have the second largest reserve in the whole world.
Yeah.
In our own country. But we don't tap it because we're going to wait for it to fucking run out everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So then we hold all the oil, and then we're the ones that have it.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid. Supply and demand, man.
Yeah, I paid $4.09 a gallon for.
Fuck that, man.
I did $3.79 on the way over here. Yep.
It's insane.
Yep.
Gas. I mean, we got to get away from gas as a whole, anyways. I mean, one of the biggest things that we continue to do, president after president, year after year, is our reliance on imports. We are so reliant on the external world for the needs of this country, when we have so much intelligence, so much stuff here that we could be doing to be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Where this shit wouldn't affect us.
Which is the problem when you start issuing sanctions.
Greed.
Is because once sanctions start, then they start coming back to you too.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Well, I don't know, what else do we get from Russia? Vodka, which we're not allowed to sell anyways, and I guess a little bit of oil. I don't know.
It hurts though.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay $3.79. Fuck that.
No, it's awful. I mean, it's absolutely awful, but I'm just like, what the fuck? So yeah, Russia and Ukraine still going on. It's not going to end anytime soon. In other news, more local, Chicago Falls, Ohio is very close to us here. We record in Akron, Ohio, and Chicago Falls High School today at 9:41 this morning. So apparently there's some sexual assault allegations going on in Chicago Falls, and the students staged a walkout today in support of the students that were involved in this. The school itself has said that they're working closely with the parents to investigate, and I'm assuming the staff that are involved.
Yes. Student victims, teacher assaulters.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, just saying.
Yeah. So I guess my thing was that I don't know how these normally work, these walkout situations. I know there's been some in the past where I've watched in the news where it was like they were holding the students accountable, like truancy and stuff. Cuyahoga Falls' take on this was like, we're in full support. They had police there to allow them to safely protest. They just have to make up any schoolwork that they might have missed during the walkout, but they weren't going to like penalize them. They were going to get in no trouble whatsoever.
Really?
If they were, participated, which I mean, it's the right thing to do, obviously.
I heard differently. That's strange.
That you'd read differently?
Yeah, I read differently that they were still going to say it's rules as usual.
Let me see.
According to the Beacon Journal.
No. Well, you probably got that link from someone you shouldn't have. So what it said is that if you are
I'm blocked, sir.
If you are going to class, it's as usual.
Mhm.
You'll sit with your teachers, you'll have meaningful conversation, you'll do your homework and everything like that. If you participate in the walkout, you will not be held like in any sort of negative fashion. You will just be responsible to make up any work you missed during the walkout.
Bravo.
And that if they were to leave school property, they would be treated as a normal citizen. They would have to follow any sort of rules that they would as a normal citizen, and would be held accountable for anything. So they did not hold anything against them as long as they did not get like violent or break any sort of rules.
Rowdy.
Rowdy. If they peacefully protested, the school is in full support of that. So I think that's good.
My former 1-year alma mater. Imagine that.
You went there for 1 year?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
Worst year of my life.
Oh God. All right. I shouldn't have brought up Cuyahoga Falls. We're gonna have some PTSD over here. Any thoughts on student walk? Did you guys any of you guys ever participate in like a walkout at school or anything?
Nope, not
No?
me.
Would you?
Would I?
In this situation, would you
I
have
would.
participated?
I would, depending
don't
on the
know.
cause.
Yeah, depending on the cause. I don't.
There were sexual allegations that a teacher sexually assaulted a student that you went to school with.
Was it assaulted or was it a relation?
Does it matter?
Well,
Okay, so there was a
By that
teacher-
definition, it's assault regardless, though, by the
Yeah.
age. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I understand what Dan's doing, but yeah. Yeah, I would.
You sure?
Yeah.
A little hesitant.
No, I would. I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to put it in my perspective. If I wasn't friends with this person, as I was distant as far as possible. If I was a friend, I would obviously
Say
do
it
it.
was someone that bullied you, but then you found out a teacher sexually assaulted them against their will.
Yeah, I would.
You still would,
Yeah.
regardless. Good.
Yep.
Good for you.
That person's a piece of shit.
Daniel only would if it was consensual or not. So
no,
it was not consensual.
That's not what I said. No, I don't. It's really hard. Like me in that age, I probably wouldn't. I held like my schoolwork and everything pretty high going to class.
Oh my God.
So
I'm surprised. I would take any chance to get out of class.
I did.
That was my primary inspiration.
There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm like,
Yeah,
I
I
was
never-
surprised by that answer, honestly.
I never
That's so funny.
skipped class. I always went to school. So
I figure most kids would jump at it.
Good for
Wow.
you. Oh, good for you. Brad?
I fucking hate school though.
Right when I was in high school, I would have walked out for any reason, any reason at all.
Lunch
But-
meat.
But as a parent now, as a dad now,
Yeah.
I think that you need to allow the kids to do this because, like, we all heard about it because they staged a walkout. We might have never heard about it. had it
Right,
not been
yeah.
that.
Truth.
No, I
Good
agree.
point. Good
So you
point.
need to bring awareness to it because I my daughter is 5 years old and I make it very clear to her that her body is her body even at 5 years old, and victims of these crimes need to be able to come forward. They need to seek support from their community because rape culture is very much a real thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And people are afraid to come out. So then you have, countless predators that get away with this stuff because people are afraid to come out. So
Yep.
by letting them come out and letting them see that the school gives them this option to be like, if this is something you feel strongly about, let's bring awareness to it.
I think that's great
That's a
that
great
they did that.
position. Yeah.
I think I agree that Cuyahoga Falls and everybody around that are supporting the movement.
Yeah.
To do that.
I think you have to. I mean, even if they didn't want to,
It's a bad look.
like
if
you almost
don't.
have to.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have students that accuse staff of sexual assault and they want to stage a walkout because of it, and then you tell them they're going to be punished for it,
Yep.
it's an even worse
Yeah.
look. But granted, it seemed like they were in support. They in the article I read, they were like I said, they're working with the families. I don't know, to your question, Brad, if they've been, fired or if they're on leave without pay. I think that's got to be standard, right?
I think that it's paid without or without leave. You're
unpaid you're on leave unpaid until it comes.
The investigation is done. Yeah. Now, if you're innocent, we bring you back, all that. Yeah.
And back pay in.
Right.
Yeah.
He has the union to protect him. Like the teachers union will protect him.
Yeah.
As much as they can. Obviously, they're not going to let
him or her.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
And I'm a prick for not even saying that, but
I knew it.
Yeah.
Hey,
no, you're right.
Men can be victims of sexual assault as well.
You are absolutely right. But either way, the union will protect the member of the staff that they can until there's a point that they can't protect. Anymore.
I can't imagine. I mean, granted, if this is all, if the stories are true and everything, they need to be
exploited,
fully held accountable and exploited. Man, I never understand these people that are in that position of power that take advantage of that. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I mean, do you go into that role like
hoping to be able to pray?
Yes. And that's awful.
I bet some people do, man.
Person.
Yeah.
That's hard to say. I mean, like where does that start?
Right.
Where's the tipping point?
I mean, you got to go to school to get an education degree and all that stuff. So was that in the back of your mind? Like, I can't wait to teach high school.
Or is it just something that sets it off there in the moment? That's the question. I don't know. I don't think, we will never know.
No. Yeah, it's a crazy situation to be in. I can't. And now this day and age, everything. I mean, with everyone having a phone on them to record or monitor everything that's going on, like I can't believe that some of this stuff still happens and people get away with it. And as a teacher, to utilize that power that you have for that.
Yeah,
I don't know much about the story. I don't Dan kind of hinted at jokingly, like, what was the situation? I don't know if it was like a consensual teacher-student relationship and it's assault. I mean, regardless, like Chris said, or if this was something where they were being abused. But regardless, you have to be held accountable.
By definition, it's wrong either way, just because the age as a whole. Yeah.
I mean, I've jokingly even pre-show said, like, where were these teachers when I was a kid that are sleeping with their students? Like, man, where was the hot substitute that was banging kids when I was a fucking senior in high school? But obviously, probably not the best look. But I'm like, damn, man, if it's consensual, for me, it's awesome. For the teacher, they're obviously still in the wrong. But look, what teenager doesn't want to bang like the hot older woman? Come on, let's be honest.
I just want the listener to know I had nothing to do with this conversation.
You're a full of shit.
You started it.
You were full of shit. You were equally as engaged as I was, and I will always be honest. I'm not saying it's right, but as a teenage boy, I would have been all about that if I had a hot teacher that was into me. Sorry, but being honest. Look, I know girls that were hooking up with guy teachers when I was in fucking high school.
Yeah,
on their own. People we're sexual creatures, it is what it is. Anyways, Chicago Falls, good for you. Anything else? Let's get social. Anything new and exciting in the news, not movies, music, or sports that I missed this week? No, the war is mainly the thing. COVID's over, apparently. State of the Union, over. No masks. Everyone stopped wearing them. First
shaking hands.
First thing taking pictures Biden has had where he did not wear a mask.
See you in winter.
Did you say it's not over, Brad?
No, it's 100% over.
Oh, yeah.
Pfizer is starting to release like some of their paperwork from the vaccine.
Yeah.
And if you thought it was hard to get people vaccinated before this,
yeah,
it's gonna be a lot harder now.
What is it? I haven't seen that. What is it? What's it talk about?
All of the side effects that came along with their vaccine. And it came that out of the people that they just one that I'm certain of is that out of 270 pregnant women that got the vaccine, 30 of them did not carry the baby to birth.
Yeah, I did see a lot of things saying that there was miscarriages or issues during pregnancy.
I think that happens for men too.
I'm not sure. But,
the ball falls off.
But
I would be okay with it.
Yeah, now with those side effects coming out.
What about Moderna? I got Moderna. I didn't get Pfizer.
I'm not sure. Theirs isn't out. I don't think that they've released theirs yet.
I got Pfizer.
I got Pfizer too.
Well, neither of you are pregnant right now.
But there's a long list of side effects.
No inspiration to have kids.
And
so my thing is
the side effects I was expecting haven't happened yet.
Jesus. They didn't know this stuff before?
It wasn't public information.
Yeah, that's so shady. And this is exactly why people were skeptical about getting vaccinated. Skeptical about getting vaccinated.
That's so hard.
I mean, but yeah, I think at this point, I mean, with Biden's stance alone, just with them being all there that close quarters and stuff, no masks or anything like that. Like, I mean, anybody that's watching that within the US is going to be like, well, I'm not fucking wearing a mask ever again. Like, what the fuck? Still going on in airports and flights. I don't know how much longer that lasts at this point. If they're obviously like, I mean, do you guys agree that sets the precedent? Like, I shouldn't have to wear a mask. All these fucking people are. The president of the United States is in a room in close quarters, shaking hands with people without a mask.
Yeah, for sure.
But you can't go and turn and force people to wear masks. Then at that point,
my work goes optional Monday.
Do they?
Yeah, it's no longer required.
I think optional is perfectly fine. If you want to choose to wear it, like, look, I had COVID recently. I never want it again. When we were just in Disney, I wore them when we were in like the really, really close compact crowds. I still wore one. But then when we were spread out, I didn't wear it. But like, I don't want to get COVID again. I don't know if I'm still going to. No one knows.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can. I don't think you should or be able to force people at this point. We'll see.
Right. I mean, there's employers that, I mean, I'm seeing, look at going on my job search. I'm still seeing everybody.
Yeah.
You gotta either show proof of vaccination.
Yeah.
Or show proof of your strong religious beliefs or health issues where you can't get the vaccination.
Yeah. That seems kind of the route it's gone at this point, is if you are fully vaccinated, you don't have to wear one, or voluntarily. Because like, even when we were at Disney, only some of the staff had them on. So I don't know if that's because it was voluntary or because if maybe Disney has the same thing, like where if you're not fully vaccinated, you have to wear one. But
if it's outside, I don't worry about it. Yeah. Like if I'm inside, it might be a different ball game. But
what's your employer at this point?
Oh, we're still, dude. We're going to be
forever.
I don't think I was talking to somebody about this today, and I said I don't think we're ever going back again because we're the most vulnerable place that there is. We have older people, so like we have the most delicate people to look after.
Yeah, and a situation like that, honestly, like I'm honestly even surprised in hospitals that it wasn't a common thing before COVID. Like, you literally are dealing with sick people all day long. Like, why? I would probably wear a mask on my own there.
Yeah. I wouldn't feel comfortable not wearing a mask, or if it's still around, like my work, I wouldn't feel comfortable without one. There was 67 cases at one point in December.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's going to happen. I know it. Like, this is my time. Finally, I'm going to get it.
You still haven't got it. You ever get it, Brad?
Yeah.
Yeah. All of us but Chris.
If I wouldn't have lost taste and smell, though, I would have never known that I had it. I thought it was just.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was fortunate, I guess.
Oh, damn, bro.
He eats too much not to notice.
Yeah, dude, I was down.
Me and Dan both.
Were you?
I got it on so when I was working, we were forced to wear masks every day, which is fine. I got used to it. I go on a golf trip to Michigan. No, sorry. South Carolina.
Get it right. Pivotal details.
North Carolina, yeah. I went on and I golfed the first day. I did not golf the second day because I felt like shit. And it hit me late at night. And chills, sore legs, like every time I'd stretch, it would hurt. Got the fever. I mean, and then for 2 weeks, I was headache every single, like a migraine-esque headache every single day. I couldn't do anything. And I still had to work from home while I was.
Yeah, that sucks.
While I was on it.
Yep, it's not fun. I definitely never want it again. Same sentiment as Dan. It was awful. And I get where people were like, fucking wear your mask and get vaccinated because it was terrible. All right. Hollywood?
Yeah. Speaking of LA.
Let's get it done.
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm! Wait. Everybody calm down! Two, Steve, assemble!
I had to watch The Internship last night. I had to.
So good. On the line?
Just those little quotes. So I gotta watch it.
I just watched it this week. I watched it twice, I think, this week.
And instantaneously.
Is that the Vince Vaughn one?
Put it out on the line.
Wilson. On the line. Are you saying on the line or online?
Online.
They called them Noogles.
Nooglers.
Nooglers.
I'm a Googler and you're new Googler, so you're a Noogler. Hollywood Report.
Yep.
We got, as usual, long list of items to talk about today. Christopher, what do you want to start off with?
Mini rant time, motherfuckers.
Mini rant time. Do it up.
So one of my least favorite cliches of Facebook and social media as a whole is when people share fake trailers or fake posters. This happens over and over again, but none more than the Beetlejuice franchise.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically Beetlejuice 2, which has been in development for about 20 fucking years now. Now it actually is in development, though.
Are you sure?
Michael Keaton has signed on with Plan B, which is Brad Pitt's production company, to make Beetlejuice 2, bringing back Winona Ryder and Michael Keaton to the franchise. So obviously I would think we've all seen Beetlejuice, correct?
Damn straight.
Okay. So
What is Beetlejuice?
this is finally coming true.
Beetlejuice.
One more time.
Beetlejuice.
No, this is finally coming true. There's one positive side to look at that is that people are finally getting the movie that they want. But on the negative side, now those same people who shared it 100 times are saying, see, I told you so. It only took 30 years. What do you guys think about the movie? What do you think about this subject?
Do you think the new Ghostbusters movie helped to push that a little bit too?
Yes, 100%. I was totally wrong on that, and I 100% admit it. But that trailer was awful, just like the Jurassic Park trailer or Jurassic World trailer is awful. It's the same thing. I know that guy. Yay!
Chris is such a hater.
I know that guy.
The original Beetlejuice rules. All the posters always looked awesome.
Yeah.
I'm stoked that it's coming.
Great
back,
makeup.
To be honest, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm sure Michael Keaton's hasn't aged enough to make a difference for
Enough
Beetlejuice.
makeup.
That's what I'm saying. Like he looked rough in Beetlejuice because of the makeup, and I think he'll be just fine. He might not need makeup.
Yeah.
If anything, you look better because you look, like more bloated and more dead anyway. So, yeah.
Jeez. Brad, fan of the show?
Yeah,
movie?
I think it's just a cash grab though. Just like a
Of course.
nostalgia, you know what I mean?
It's a sequel.
Catch them right at the peak time, right? Get the nostalgia factor in, capitalize on a little bit of money.
Yep.
They don't care what the product they put out is.
Look, does it need a sequel? Honestly, with the way that the movie ended, do we really need a sequel to Beetlejuice? Absolutely not.
Right.
People are going to buy it because it's the name attached to it.
Do we need a sequel to most movies?
No, not at all.
Do we need 7 to Fast and Furious?
10?
10?
10?
12?
Yeah, it's
12?
going on 10.
Well, 7 bad ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely a cash grab. And it's always in that 25 year mark where they come back. Indiana Jones did it. Rocky did it.
Halloween.
Ghostbusters did it. Halloween. I mean, they all fucking do it eventually. But this is one that I'm okay with. Like, I like the original a lot. They do it right. I don't know what the fucking storyline is, but
At least it's not a remake.
Agreed.
Did you guys get to see Keaton's real touching what was it? SAG award speech?
No.
I posted it on my Facebook.
It was good.
Yeah, it was really touching and really sincere.
What was it? What was it for?
So it was for a show called Dope Sick that's on Hulu.
I want to see that.
I do too. I want to sit down and watch it. It's 8 episodes, and it's about basically the drug pandemic, pretty much, and pharma and everything that's related to that.
Yep.
And he won the award for it, and he gets up there and he used his time to basically speak about that same pandemic, unfortunately, to people and the victims and how important it was. He even broke down crying midway through it, which I thought was very touching. Keaton's just one of those
He's
guys.
a great actor, man. You can
he
tell.
is. Yeah. And he always seems
I was going to say something like that too.
fucking assholes.
It was a speech.
Yeah. I've heard that. I hear it. Okay, I got you, asshole. Anyway, the touching sentiment. Okay, but no, it was a cool speech and probably the highlight of the SAG Awards for me personally. Otherwise, boring ceremony. But
yeah,
Keaton stood out, and that show looks really good. I'm gonna check it out probably sometime within the next 2 weeks.
It's gotten really great reviews, and I think there's a book or something that prefaces it because I was talking about it, and someone said you really should read the book first and then watch the show.
Mm-hmm.
I probably won't. We've talked about
I probably won't
books
either.
or whatever on here before.
Books
but
are
yeah,
hard.
the show's supposed to be really fucking good. So cool.
Yeah, we'll check it out.
Good deal.
Another film that has been greenlit actually hours before we went live here is the I Am Legend 2. So there's going to be a sequel. Even more bizarre than this is that it's going to be starring Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan. So I'm cool. If you want to make a sequel, fine, whatever. How does this work in the context of the story, though? Is this a prequel? Because you can't really have Will Smith in it, per se.
Right. He's an alien now.
Yeah.
Or a
zombie, I
now.
guess.
Right, we all saw the same.
Michael
thing.
B. Jordan's
Yeah.
coming to save him.
I guess.
There it is.
I think the only direction you can go with this is a prequel, maybe adding more layers to the story itself. Maybe when it first started, show like, when his family gets on the plane, all that, whatever happens. And then from there, show that part.
As we just noted.
They did. They just had
Do
like
they really need sequels?
nine seasons of The Walking Dead. Like that. That's all it's enough.
Oh God, man.
I really loved I Am Legend a lot.
Yeah.
But what do you do with the story?
I think it's
really
one and
what
done.
do you do with that story?
Yeah.
It was perfect as it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not perfect might be a stretch, but I mean, like,
I enjoyed it.
It was very well done as it is. The ending ended great. Like,
Mhm.
why do another? Why do an extension, whether it be prequel or sequel?
Yeah. Yeah. To me, I don't know. It's unnecessary, but I feel like they said that this is a signed sequel to Netflix, which could be bad. It could be even worse there too. So this production company that's associated with it, they have a 3-picture deal with Netflix, and they are going to use one of those as the I Am Legend 2 sequel. So I don't know. I like I said, with your argument, is it necessary? Absolutely not. Will it make the butts in the seats? Yeah. Because
do you really think that that's
name.
one that's but do you think about that movie and think about going back and seeing another one? Like, it was a great movie, but does that carry the same caliber of seeing like a sequel?
Depends
as like a
what that sequel
Beetlejuice or
is.
something,
Oh.
I think it's going to be heavily reliant on the trailer
Yeah.
and what they depict the story to be.
See, the thing is, you could slap Ghostbusters on any movie. Like,
can go to
it could
it.
be an absolutely shitty movie. Oh, as we saw a few years ago.
As I say, I didn't see. I still haven't seen
I
that
won't
one.
see it.
But you put Ghostbusters on it, people are going to see it. Like, that's
that's
all.
my point. But
That's
do
all
you
it
think
is.
about that with I Am Legend? Like, I don't.
It's tough. Yeah, I don't think so. Not on the same candor anyway. Maybe just for Netflix, because it's a streaming and they have to fill content. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But I would probably seek this out if I wasn't a critic. Yeah. Anything else?
Any thoughts, guys? Hyped up, excited? No.
Yeah.
Care? No. Yeah. I don't.
I mean, it's on Netflix. I'll probably
it's
watch
free.
it.
Free to
Sure,
watch.
right.
Sure.
I'm not
absolutely.
gonna sit in a movie theater. It's not one I'm gonna go to see. What about you, Ryan? Would you go to a theater to see this?
I won't go to a theater to see that.
Did you go
I
to a
won't even
movie to see
theater to see Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
So definitely not I Am Legend.
I know that they butchered Texas Chainsaw Massacre to pieces.
Did you watch it?
It's disrespectful to
Dude,
the
it's
whole.
so bad,
So
man.
bad.
And dude, here's the thing. It's not the worst of the series though. Like, I didn't think so. Like, honestly, Texas Chainsaw 3D I thought was worse. Yeah, like that whole, just the fucking line. Dude, or was it do your thing, cuz one of the worst fucking lines. I'm like, somebody wrote that and then it went in. It got approved for that fucking movie. Imagine that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brad's right. This movie, dog shit. Outside of the kills, I think was probably the only positive I would give it. Characters, despicable.
Yeah, it was awful.
Downright despicable. The ending was laughable.
Yeah.
Like, I was laughing my ass off. They tried to emulate the 1973 original with modern technology. It
It's
didn't
just not
work.
the same.
It's not believable at all.
No,
even,
not at all.
even in the slightest. Yeah, don't seek out Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Other news this week. So the big movie on the billboards this week is The Batman. And it released. Early screenings opened on Wednesday. It is currently in theaters full time now. You can see it around the clock pretty much every hour. But AMC is kind of making some interesting choices with that release, in that they are charging an extra $1.50 for every ticket to go see The Batman specifically. They're introducing this as a plan called Peak Plan, to where certain movies on new releases, they're going to charge an additional fee. My question to you guys is this legitimately right? I mean, it is their business, their rules, but is this right to do to fans? This is obviously a way to make up their bankruptcy claims from last summer. What do you guys think about this?
Well, one thing I find odd is this early release.
Mhm.
Just have showtimes on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like, it used to be like you'd go see it at midnight, and that's like you're early. You're just fucking having showtimes on Wednesday. That's just the day the movie comes out.
Yeah.
It doesn't come out on Thursday.
It's like the Black
The
Friday
first show days are on Wednesday. That's when the
sales
movie
start on
releases.
Monday.
Yeah.
You know, they're pushing it forward to
It just-
try to get more.
It's kept moving forward at this point. I don't know what the hype is. It just means that that's the day the movie's out, right?
It's their way to get a start on the box office. Basically, they can make more money, they can dominate more. So Batman made $200 million this week instead of 150 that it was going to make, because we opened 2 days earlier.
Yeah, but I feel like, doesn't every movie do that?
You can do that, but it chooses
Yeah.
not to. It just costs money for you to put it in theaters more.
I guess I just never really understood that, like the premise. Like Jesse was like, I got an early screener. I'm like, you just saw it on
He didn't
Wednesday.
get an early
and-
screen.
Yeah.
Cinemark opened it
That's
the
what I
day
mean.
before.
He's like, I got an I'm like, no, you just saw it on Wednesday because that's when the showtimes were.
Early screeners when they send you something to your email and you have 48 hours to watch it.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's stupid. I think to charge extra is stupid. Like, just fuck, I'm gonna see the movie when I want to see it. Like, I'm not gonna pay extra to see it one day early.
Yeah.
You're not getting anything extra from it. It's not like,
So it was just for that day that they raised the price?
It's
Or
for the
is it gonna
first
be-
week. The first week that you see it. They said after that they'll go back to normal pricing. So if you wait a week to see the Batman,
You're saving $1.50.
yeah.
Or you just go to any other theater.
or you just
Or you go
any-
to another theater.
But
You're right.
and therein lies my question though. It's like if you alienate your fans enough, it's a bad look anyway. But if you alienate your fans from coming back, you will never make this money back to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, is anyone in here paying even though it's only $1.50? Are you paying anything extra to see a movie early that you can't just see a week later?
Is it the only theater in town? Literally, am I living in a small town where that AMC is the only thing there?
Yeah. Just say that this is say every theater charged you an extra $2 to see the movie for the first 7 days, and then after that it was a normal price. Would any of you pay that extra $2?
It depends. It's hard to say.
Movie.
I don't think it. Yeah. I don't think it's necessarily a wrong thing for them to do. I mean, I think, you know, in an age where prices just keep going up on everything, that's their adjustment to it.
Yeah.
And if they're doing it, they're making that money the first week, you know, so be it. It's $1.50. It's $2.
But are you
ticket.
personally paying? Like, is there a movie that you want to see bad
I
enough
would-
for you to
I-
pay the extra money to see it
I
early?
would, yeah. I mean, if it's something that I really want to see,
I think
within
Batman's
the
the
first week,
exception, and they knew they could get away with that because so many people wanted to see the Batman.
like
This is
Spider, all the movies that like, if it's Clifford, no, fuck no.
Yeah.
oh, you liar!
If
You'd pay
it's,
$15 extra to see Clifford.
you know, if it's a movie I'm not interested, I'm not
Of
probably
course.
not gonna.
You're probably not going to see it anyways.
Right.
Brad, would you pay extra to go see a movie just to see it in the first week rather than wait 7 days?
There in like the last 5 years, there's not too many movies that I've been like, I
Yeah.
have to go see this when it comes
Me
out.
either.
Yeah, I don't think I would, but like
Tammy.
aside from like the Marvel series, I guess there's not been a movie that I like really anticipated. So
I think they knew Batman was the one that people were anticipating the most, one of the most anticipated films of the year for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think this is the one they knew they could get away with it. That if people really want to see it and AMC is your only option in your town, let's go for it.
Yeah,
man.
sure.
I guess my only thing is I could see it if you got something additional, like just seeing it a week early. I mean, that's just for me personally. Like, even though it's only $2, like maybe if you see it in the first week and you pay the extra $2, you get a gimmick or something with it, you know, or I don't
That'll
know.
cost money.
But then I took my words.
That's
yeah.
my point, though. I
Yep.
guess for me, I don't know why the early. That's
It's
just
not-
me. 'Cause
it's
I don't
not-
care. I don't
so
care
it-
enough that I want to see a
it's-
movie
I don't
a
know
week
if you're-
early to pay
It's not
the
an
extra
early
money.
release. It's not a week early release. It
The first
releases-
week.
Yeah, it's the same day.
It's the same.
That's an early release for me. I'll wait a week to not pay the $2. So to see it a week early, you're going to pay $2 more. I'll wait.
It's social media. It's being able to say, "Hey, I saw the Batman tonight when other people didn't." That's all it is.
The main
Yeah.
person fucked here is you. Yeah, basically what it comes down to. Because you have to see every movie the day it comes out. So.
Yeah, unfortunately. But this is one I actually wanted to see. So I mean, I don't know. If it was my only option, $2, I could care less.
Yeah.
But I would pay
But
it
if
out.
you'd go to Cinemark, you'd go somewhere else. And I
Yeah.
right now I would too. If it's a difference of $14.50 here, $16.50 there.
Yeah.
Do you think other theaters follow suit because of it?
And
Because
that's the question right
Yeah.
now.
I don't know. It depends on what the results of that AMC
Right.
take is
Yeah.
versus what Cinemark. If their numbers were or their dollars were much higher than Cinemark's take, I
Right.
could see them doing that.
Right.
And you know whose idea this was to begin with?
Uh,
Who drew up this blueprint to start? Steven Spielberg.
oh my god.
So a few years ago, he was quoted in an interview as saying, "I see a future one day where like superhero movies are going to be charged an additional price because there's that dependency on them. Like people have to see
Yeah.
those movies. So they're going to take advantage of them as hardcore as they
Yeah.
can." Now you have AMC that comes along, and we reported as early as last summer that they were going under bankruptcy. This whole movie A-list plan had set
Yeah.
them back in their finances. They were in the red ink by literally millions of dollars, and they had to figure out a way to make that back. Here's that opportunity right now. They take that page and they go, well, people have to see the Batman. They have to see Captain America or Spider-Man. Yeah.
I get the point. Like I get the premise behind the income, but I don't think it works.
Yeah.
Unless everyone does it.
They're desperate.
I think you just drive people away.
Yeah.
You know, I think if everyone did it, then at that point, yeah, they're all going to make that extra. Like it needs to be like almost like a production company thing. Whatever who puts the movies out than the theater itself. But
yeah, I think honestly, I think it will, because once people flock to it and they go, well, they're making $17 and we're making $15. I want that $17. They're going to, money is great for any theater. They're going to jump on that opportunity.
Yeah.
I think it will.
I think they plan to go bankrupt. Like I truly believe that they plan to go bankrupt.
Yeah.
And that this is just get as much money as they can
before
before it happens. Because the CEO of AMC, I only know this because I love betting on meme stocks in the stock market, but he sold so much of his stake in the company to help boost revenue and do all these things. And really, he's just doing stuff.
Lining them pockets.
Yep, that's it.
Interesting.
Lining them pockets.
I think AMC is doomed to fail. Like they're doomed to not just Cinemark, but like every theater chain around the globe. I think AMC is falling a distant third and dropping fast. And decisions like this, people are going to go and they're going to seek out another Cineplex in the same town. If they have that option, they're not going to go to AMC. Why would you pay $2 more when you have a Cinemark down the street that pays $15?
Is there an AMC around here?
There used to be. I don't think anymore.
Solon, Brooklyn. That's
nothing local to us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I honestly thought it would have been Regal that was doing this, not AMC.
It would make sense, especially because, man, there's not a lot of butts in the seats. Like I said, I saw the Batman yesterday. There was maybe 15 people in the theater with us.
Wild.
It's like, man, people really depend on Cinemark and they'll go there, which is kind of nice for me because I hate people. So I don't want to be around them.
We see how well that worked out for you, though.
Yeah. But you know what he did? I forgot to tell you. So the guy that sits next to me got a ticket. He decided to sit right next to me, and he sits 5 seats over when he gets there.
Good.
So I guess he realized the error of his ways. We didn't sit next to him technically. Fucking guy.
So is that Regal still open in Chapel Hill?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
I never see a single movie on there.
I love that place. I fucking love that
place.
Right
by my parents.
Oh my god! I wish
when you go to.
Well, if I have a choice, I will, because nobody's there.
Yeah,
I fucking love
Everyone's
it.
afraid they're gonna get shot at the movies.
Yeah,
the place is sketchy as fuck, bro.
Oh,
it's not that bad up there anymore.
Their latest showing. They're not allowed to show movies past 8:30. Like 8:30 is the latest showing they can put on the market.
Sketchy.
Yeah.
Right.
It didn't used to be.
No.
I grew up over there.
Nice.
It was.
I saw Scream there, the original.
Yeah, I used to see movies there all the time, and then it just got real bad with that mall. And but like to that point though, I haven't been over there really since that mall closed. It probably has changed a little bit. Now it's a fucking storage zone or something.
Turn it to a dollar theater. Classic movies. You will make your money. I promise you. Even in a bad area, you will make your money.
Yeah.
Let's transition to music for a second. We got a guy on this show, or at least we used to have, who was a huge Kanye West fan. I am not of that caliber. I like his music. I don't love his music. I don't know about you guys. Now he's making a couple of more questionable decisions. The first one begins with a $200 stem player that is the only way to listen to his new album, Donda 2. I guess I just want to know, like, I obviously get the intention is to make money, but like from a listener perspective, how do you guys feel about this? If you say you're a hardcore Kanye West fan.
I won't be listening to the Donda 2 album.
Yeah, I respect look. I don't know any of Kanye's music. I mean, I'm sure I've heard a song here or there. I don't know the albums like you and Jesse do. I know Jesse is like super into Kanye.
Will justify anything that he does.
But the one thing I do respect about Kanye is I do think he's musically a genius, and I love the innovation. I think it's a cool concept, and the idea of it. But for $200 to dance, I'm not paying $200 to listen to an album. I mean, I go to the record store and I pay $25 for a record, and I'm like, oh god,
yeah,
I ain't paying $200 for it. Cool idea. Make it more marketable. Make it in a price range. If it was 50 and I'm like really into Kanye,
like Tool did,
I maybe do it for $50. $200, no fucking way.
I'm gonna let you talk, but I have a feeling you're going to say exactly what I'm going to say. Go ahead.
So, all right. So, number one.
Wait, preface this by: are you a Kanye fan?
First and foremost, I miss the old Kanye.
Me too.
Okay.
100%.
So-
I just
Yeah.
don't know your stance on him
I'm
compared to
also
the other
Kanye.
guys. So
I've hated the last few albums.
And Through the Wire by Kanye is still one of the greatest songs ever made
I
by
agree.
anyone ever.
I agree.
But the original Donda album sucked, man. It was terrible. He had a better chance to get people to pay the $200 for the first Donda album because he pushed it back so long.
Yeah.
And then he put out just the most average album ever. The features were better than any verse he had on there. And now to be like, here's $200 to put out another mediocre album.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. And I love Kanye.
yeah.
He didn't take what I was going to say. Thankfully, I have an out here. I think the problem with releasing this in this day and age is that there's so many options that people steal music, and you can put it on YouTube. You can put it on anywhere. Somebody's not going to pay the $200. They're going to wait until it goes online, and they're going to listen to it that way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thus, what's the fucking point? You've alienated your fan base again.
I'd be curious to see who pays for it though.
Who pays? For
I'd be curious to see if they release a number on like how many albums are sold, like how many speakers are sold.
I'm sure the thing sold out,
I was
right?
gonna say
Like,
this dude
He hyped the hype for Kanye
is insane.
in the sneaker culture, in the music culture, is
It's
extremely
insane.
high.
Yeah.
No matter whatever he puts his name on, people are gonna buy. So if there's still these STEM players out there, I'll be shocked.
The dude sold out that stadium to play his album while he stood there with Drake.
Yeah.
People love the guy. I mean, I bet if it hasn't sold out like Dan said that it does, like I think people will still pay for it. And I think that it's very innovative and it's a cool concept, but it's just not for me. There's no band that I'm paying that for to buy.
This STEM player, do you guys know what it does?
No.
I'm still confused as to what it does. Like I'm seeing people moving their thumb. Does it pull lyrics out and you can mix your own Kanye songs or whatever with it?
I just thought the idea was so stupid that I didn't even want to pursue it.
I didn't look into it much either, but I
thought it was. I literally just thought it was a
like an
speaker that was
MP3 player.
preloaded that you could just listen to.
That you can only play on that, like it's I don't know, licensed or encoded to only.
Like it's just pre-downloaded on the speaker and you can listen to it on. You charge it and you can listen to it. I don't know anything else about it though. I didn't look into it because I'm like, I'm not paying to fucking buy this.
No, I wouldn't either. And the thing is, I have no desire to listen to this album. I'm a lot from Brad's perspective in terms of Donda 1 was like such a mediocre album, I guess at best. The last couple albums I think have been garbage. I really have not. The old Kanye, I'm on board. Maybe not for $200. If it was like a $50 player, I'd do it.
Any album or movie that you would ever pay $200 to buy a device that's the only option to listen to or watch? Anyone?
Now that I've seen it?
Anyone?
Or the first time?
Never seen it. It's your favorite producer or like your favorite musician, and any musician, they're going to put out an album and the only way you could get it is through this. Would you ever pay that for it?
My most anticipated movie of all time was Blade Runner 2049. And I would say 200 would be too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would any of you guys, is there anybody you guys are super into that you would pay, like for something like that to see and or watch your favorite of something? No.
I'd much rather pay. Like I got a buddy that's in a band, like a small time band.
Go see them.
I'd much rather give them $200 for their album than Kanye West, who's literally like, man, it's crazy how many billions of dollars I have.
Yeah.
So I just looked up what this STEM player is. So you can customize any song on it. Ships with the Donda album, split any song into stems. So each slider, the 4 sliders, you can split the songs into stems and you can control them. Controls vocals, drum, bass, and samples.
So it's like a mixer.
It's like a little mini mixer.
So that's kind of different. Then you're not just paying
Isolate
$200 for
parts,
the
add
album.
effects.
I'm not a fucking composer. You compose. I don't want to fucking make music. You make it.
That's kind of cool though.
So now you can make Kanye's average album better.
Wow. Hot take.
That's a good one, actually.
Jeez.
So
That's
I mean,
interesting,
8 gig storage on it. So it's a little
Mini
mixer
board.
MP3 player,
That's cool. Like I said, I think the innovation is cool. I think it's a cool concept.
and it's still available.
People will buy it, but it's still available.
Yeah.
I really will be curious if they release the numbers on how many he sold, because that's his album sales essentially. I want to know how many he ends up selling.
I think the deeper question is, I want to see like the income of those people that buy those.
Sure, yeah.
Because if you're rich, $200 is a joke to you, but like if you're from
People
the
are paying
streets,
$350, $400 for his shoes.
oh my god.
So
This summer,
people will buy it.
Tory Lanez released an album as an NFT. I don't really understand how NFTs work yet.
I don't either.
But he sold 1 million of the NFTs for $1. That was it. And now you had rights to Tory Lanez album. That's yours now. And he sold 1 million of them for $1 a piece.
Oh, that's a bad idea, man.
Done.
You can use that for any
Yep.
a Nazi
video. He
video.
owned the masters, obviously, but they could do whatever they wanted with that NFT that they purchased for.
That's wild,
Man, that's ooh.
Wow.
I don't know, man.
What
Other
else, Chris?
Kanye news, because
Yes.
he's never one to shy away from the limelight twice in 1 week. His new music video Easy was not very well received by the critics, the fans, or even his ex Kim Kardashian. In the video released on Tuesday, the 44-year-old rapper kidnapped, tied up, and buried a claymation version of Kardashian's boyfriend Pete Davidson.
Buried alive.
Yeah. So one person that I've heard from has said this is Kanye's version of Kim, the song by Eminem.
Yep.
This is creepy, not just by my standards, right, guys? Like everybody else is seeing this as this is a guy literally crying and moaning over his ex about a different guy that she's gotten with. He's still whining. He's with a hotter chick, in my opinion, now.
No, not anymore. They're not together anymore.
Okay, well, fuck me then.
You would like her too, I'm sure.
Cheney?
Was
Cheney Jones?
no Julia
Oh, I
Fox.
think he's with Cheney Jones.
Oh, is he? Jesus.
Moves quickly.
So, but yeah, I'm not the only one, right? Like this is crazy.
I
but-
think to the Kim comment,
yeah,
the difference is that was like a made up story.
yeah,
This is about a real actual person who, like, it's different in that aspect. I get it's his version of Kim, but they were kind of commending the video and the whatever behind it, where I'm like, it's Kanye.
yeah.
Am I shocked? No. Is it fucked up? Yes. Like the dude's fucking out there, man.
Mm-hmm.
And as Pete Davidson, like, what the fuck?
This is so weird.
Yeah, bro.
And then like we've covered on this show before. Kanye moved the house across the street. This is weird, man. This is like unhealthy on a whole new range.
Yeah, if he was just a regular person, there would already be like a protection order between him and his ex-wife.
Yes, good point.
Is there not one? Does Kim not have anything like that?
I don't think yet.
I don't think not yet.
They did finalize and like agree to the divorce. Like the judge passed everything for that. Like they're officially done.
Mm-hmm. You mean you want to walk away from him? I mean, God, what are you, crazy?
But yeah, they are. I'm shocked she doesn't have anything like that.
Yeah.
She lives across the street.
I think and the word was of the article I read on People is that she's very angry about this. Like the other stuff, like the lyrics and everything, she's kind of just brushed off her shoulder. This is something that she's intentionally reacted to in the public eye. And if you're looking to get your ex back, this is not the way to do it.
Is there any kind of? I mean, I guess. Is there any kind of law he broke? I mean, if one of us made a video about killing someone, like a real person, can you get in trouble for that?
I don't think so.
Is that like a prosecutable offense?
I don't think so.
No.
It's really just
Obviously, you're the first person they're going to look at when the person turns up dead.
Yes. It's
But
not good
but
for
it's
you.
not illegal to do.
It's just not a good look.
Yeah.
Altogether. Yeah. Like I don't think legally he's going to get in trouble for it.
Yeah.
It's just not a good look.
And they use his name in the song too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like,
That's what's
there's no
so,
mistaken.
like-
No, it's like he's blatantly obvious that it's Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be some kind of legality. Like Pete Davidson's got to be able to do like sue him for something.
Well, Pete doesn't care.
I'm sure he could get a protection order just the same,
Right.
you know, but
No, I'm not saying he cares, but I mean, like, if it was someone else, like, you've got to be able to, I figure out, have some kind of legal ground that someone made a video about killing you,
Yeah.
like, and
I'd
publicly
figure that-
posted it everywhere to see.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's fucked up, man.
That video is wrong.
Artist liberties, man. You know, it's we've seen some risky videos of our time. I point to Prodigy Smack My Bitch Up as being the
Yeah.
most controversial music video ever. This one, though, man, I got to say it's out there because, as you said, it's a real person. It's a real situation that's literally unfolding before our very eyes. So it's not like there's time to make this wound kind of heal a little bit. It is literally happening as we're speaking. So
Who okayed that?
well,
He's on his own record label, or is he on someone? Like, did someone have to approve and like allow this to happen?
no, Kanye's his own entity at this point.
I would
Yeah,
say so.
he's-
Yeah.
He's gonna do what he wants to do.
Jesus, man.
Remember when we were yelling about him interrupting old Taylor Swift on
Yep.
stage? That was the big controversy then. Jesus.
Best speech of all time.
It's crazy to me that Kanye entertains it. Like, I understand he loves his wife, but to like, it's Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
It's Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
Man. Like,
That's
ugliest
why
fucking guy in the.
That's why he feels the way he feels, though, because he got fucking replaced by Pete fucking Davidson.
Yeah,
well,
you can get
God.
some hot tail yourself,
Add
man.
insult to
normally
injury. He did.
normally you
Yeah, but still a
upgrade when
slap
you
in the-
move on.
Yeah.
And Kim downgraded
Look, I think Kim Kardashian's
17 steps.
I think Kardashian's a good looking woman, but like, look, she ain't the be all end all for me. Like, I see her, I'm
We
like,
know who your be all end alls are.
yeah, but like, I look at her, I'm like, yeah, she's good looking, and I would entertain it, but like, there's not something I'm gonna obsess over.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kanye's weird, man. He's a weird dude.
Yeah. We got two more things, I think.
Yeah, a bunch more than that.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got two more things. First thing I want to talk about, we're going to transition to TV for a second.
TV time.
We've got to talk about the finale of Euphoria, ladies and gentlemen. We won't bore Brad completely,
You're not into this?
but
the wife is, so I kind of know what's going on.
oh, okay. But I do want to review this final episode because it is such a monumental
Absolutely.
episode, a climax to the second season as a whole.
Yep.
What did you guys think of this episode? Who wants to start?
I'll start. I loved it. I think we got a lot of closure on a lot of questions, but at the same time, we're ready for season 3.
Fucking
like,
yes, please.
there's enough that they left out there that they haven't gone over, they haven't closed the door on, that I can see making for another great season coming up. But I think at the end of season 2, the much anticipated, I think it lived up to its being.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of echo those sentiments. To me, episode 5 was my favorite episode of all time for 3 weeks. And then this episode came along and just completely squashed it. I knew this was going to be quite a payoff. I didn't think it was going to be to such monumental depths as it reached. Not just with the Rue stuff, but the fight between the girls, in the bathroom. The viscerality of the father and the son, their rivalry, which has reached a boiling height. This whole episode swang back and forth between one story to another, and everything was nearly perfect, minus a horrible John Mayer performance. But everything was like nearly perfect. I'm talking 98% perfect this episode. And you're right. It left so much open, which is the point of a season finale, not a series finale. It's that you have to have something to lean toward next season. There's plenty. I think we all agree on that. There's plenty of unanswered questions right now. A lot of uncertainty, not just with Rue's well-being, but with a lot of these character dynamics. I mean, where do these former best friends go from here? Where does the father and son go from here? Will we ever see Cal again? He's in prison now. Where does that go? We still don't know about that fucking little boy on that picture on the wall.
Yeah.
Awesome episode. I think this show is in deservance of so much award recognition, and I hope it gets it. It thoroughly enjoys it or deserves it.
I agree.
Yep.
All my reservations from last week or from the last episode were answered. One, not that I didn't love the last episode, but I had reservations about like where it took the story, and with it just being basically a recap of events that already happened with the play, thrown out the window this week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the continuation of it and where it went this week blew that out of the water. And my hesitations about all of the unanswered storylines, I mean, they pretty much closed up everything I was unsure about, with exception to the suitcase lady. I mean, we got some sort of closure around the Rue and Jules, and I'm so glad Elliot came back. And we got to see where that went. Obviously the Jules and Rue thing isn't over, but they talked. We see that there's something continuing with them. We were unsure about Cal. He had him in prison in like 2 or 3 episodes, and we got to see some sort of closure with that. Cassie and Maddie had their moment. We got to see where that went. Like everything had a moment. We were unsure about Lexi.
Cassie and Lexi had their moment.
Yeah.
Oh God.
All of our open, for me, all of my open ends that I wanted to see something come of, every single one of them happened. The episode was insane. Best episode. One of my, say top 5 probably overall series ever, if maybe not even top 3.
Wow.
The show was just fantastic. It was so well put together. The character building on everybody was so well done. I can't think of another show that had so many like dynamic storylines going on, like all at one time. And it's only been 2 seasons. Like there's still so much more to see.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I loved all of the blow up, that happened in the season. I love, what's her name? That plays, is it Cassie, the Sweeney girl?
Yeah.
I mean, that chick's wild. That shit was wild. She is a phenomenal actress. I see her going a lot of places.
She's got that fire burning in her eyes. When she's angry at someone, you feel it.
Just the emotion. Like, I feel like their emotion and stuff was so just well done and represented, like the anger and the hurt and everything that they portrayed.
Yeah.
What a fantastic show.
Just think about Fesco came into the show off the street.
Didn't even talk about that part.
Yep.
And how good of an actor he portrayed. Like,
he's awesome. It's just him.
That dude.
I think we were joking about it. Like, he's literally just himself.
Whatever he's doing in real life, he's brought that and kept that with this character. And the emotion that he can stir up with that heartfelt love for Ashtray and what he's got to do to practice. Like, you can't. You're born natural with that ability. You can't really learn that.
We like him as a person.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I started following the main characters on Instagram and stuff.
I got a couple of them.
Really getting into the show, and like, I watch his videos, and like, that's just who he is. Like, he's just a likable person, and it just fits that character that they wanted so well, which is obviously why they like found him off the street and brought him to the show.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so perfect. Like, he just there's a likable about him, a likableness about him,
like,
and
ability.
Like that kind of like bad boy. Like, he just has that bad boy vibe that fits that drug dealerish role and stuff so well.
Yeah.
And it's great. And then Ashtray guy's apparently like a young boxer or MMA fighter or something, which is pretty cool. He's only 15. And it's interesting because he alluded at they don't know where his character, obviously we all assume he died.
We know where his character,
but he alluded that he doesn't know what happens with his story. Like, he hasn't been written off the show as far as like contract or anything. He doesn't know what happens next.
If he's not dead, he's in jail for life, man.
Well, but I guess I was reading like some interviews and stuff, and they were saying that some of that stuff like changed like the day of. Like the writer or producer or whatever like changed storylines. Fezco was actually supposed to be the one that went down,
and that's what I predicted,
and they changed it like the day of.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think the show is very unpredictable. We'll see what happens next season. There's, like Dan said, there's still a lot of open ends, but also I feel like there was a lot of great closure on things. Cal, we assume, went to jail, but we also know he kind of like owns that town, and we don't really know what they're charging him with. Like we said, probably whatever's on that flash drive.
Underage.
Yeah, but we don't really know what's gonna come of it. Like that, what he did, what they're supposedly charging him with. So.
I think Nate called the authorities and said, "Here's what I've got. I've got it on tape, and you can have it as soon as you get down here and take him."
Yep.
Like, yeah.
We'll see. I mean, but overall, what do you give it now after talking last week? I think we kind of ranked where we were. You were A-, I think is what you said. You were a low 9.
I was gonna say a grade
change,
and where you put it with season 1 as far as like which is better. My grade, I'll say a plain A. And I'll say it's better than season 1.
Okay.
Yes.
A 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Easy.
Like one over the other season wise?
I think I like definitely like 2 over 1.
Yeah.
I just think the emotion, it hit a different level.
Yeah.
Especially that episode with Rue.
Yeah.
Like just the way Zendaya came across so emotional and so real feeling.
That was her Emmy moment.
That was insane.
Yeah.
Like I chills thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I give it a 10 out of 10.
Nice.
Overall. 1 and 2 both.
Oh, okay.
I can't think of anything that I'm upset about. I was very 9 at the beginning because it started off slow for me and I was unsure. But if I put both of them together and my love for the first and the way that the second 2/3 of this season went, I can't be let down. I mean, the performances were insane. The writing was so well done. as Dan's mentioned on a couple episodes, just the videography and the lighting and the way that it's been put
transition.
together. Like the show is just so well done. It does not leave me disappointed at all. I can't think of what you can add to this other than obviously like the open-ended storylines, but we want that. We want more. I don't think that that's a flaw. I don't think there's anything that they could have really done differently for me that I really can critique it at all.
Yeah. I think you mentioned my problem with the first season is that first couple episodes, it gets off to kind of a slow start. And it's kind of tough to get invested into it right away because you just see these kids as like types. You don't really know them at first. They're types to you. So like, to me, that's where the first season kind of strays off from the second season to me. I'll say this, with the direction of where the third will possibly be heading in our heads, it's got a lot to fall back on, but it also has such a big responsibility to carry that momentum from season 2. I mean, that's tough, guys. Like we should really come to the realization that this season might be an 8 out of 10, we'll say. And we would look at it as a disappointment just because season 2 was so great. That's the unfortunate reality at this point. You know?
I mean, at this point, we saw so many boiling points and like climaxes in this season. That where do you go in season 3? I mean, there's still a lot of storyline available. But so much happened in this one, and like all at once.
8 episodes.
That it's like, God damn, what do you do next?
You know, I was it Sam Levinson? I don't think we're gonna be disappointed in where he goes from.
Well, I'm just saying, like, we'll still think it's great, but it's like we could look at it as inferior to season 2, and that would be like a disappointment itself.
But what if it's way better than season 2?
This is a season 2 that you like more than one, right? That's not an often thing. So I mean, if it continues like that, maybe 3 fucking. I mean, there's so much.
They said 4 seasons, right?
4.
So they've got a story. They know what direction they want to go, and I'm not with what they did with season 2. And like changing the videography, the camera work, and having that vintage feel throughout. They're evolving the story, and I think they're going to come with a much different take next season.
You got to think I don't think it's going to be complex they are too. Like the storylines are very complex. I mean, we've been kind of watching the same storyline, like scenario unfold for 16 episodes, 2 seasons. You know, there's so much going on, and because they have so many important characters in one show, like we talked about, I think last week, like this is one of the only shows I can think about where everyone plays such a crucial part. There's not just like 2 main characters and backdrops. It's everyone is involved. So we have so much still to see unfold, with Maddie saying like it's not over or it just started or something at the end of that episode.
What is that context?
Because like, you gotta think like her and Maddie and Cassie, like you can see they had a little scuffle, but like they didn't hash it out. Like they got broken up.
She threw her face into the wall.
There's more coming though.
You can look at that look as 2 things though. You can look at it as like, because she mentions before that Cassie says, you know, the funny thing is Nate broke up with me before that even happened. And it's like, then Maddie responds and she goes, it's only just begun. So she could be saying like the shit with Nate has only just begun. He'll come back to you, he'll run back to you, and you'll go back and forth and blah blah blah. Or it could be, I'm gonna fuck you up more. And
I agree, you could take it either way. Like he's gonna fuck with you like he did with her.
That's where I took it.
But I think she knows more than we think. And I think it's not only is she going to fuck up Maddie, but she's going after Nate. I think that there's going to be more that comes from that storyline, with everything going on with him and like what was portrayed in the play that we think he only saw and nobody else really knew about. I think more comes from that. Obviously the unfolding of Cal in the picture and where like him and Nate's relationship go.
She can expose so much.
There's so much going on. We have the whole storyline of where Jules and Rue go. Like they clearly left that like, okay, like we're okay, but what happens? The star of the show, Elliot, I mean, he's here. He's still with us. You don't know what he's going to bring to season 3. There's so much that's going to happen.
Hopefully more sing-alongs.
Yeah, but
I didn't mind that song.
Yeah, I just think
I had 3 people that messaged me and go, that was the worst fucking part of that whole episode.
I didn't mind it at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what I got out of that was Rue's reaction to it.
I know the reaction. He likes her. I know that.
No, like just her reaction and like just when they focus that camera on her face, it seems so real.
Yeah. A lot of it
Like-
was telling of her story because that was before the play. So she's coming to terms with how the outside world is seeing her. And he's still there for her and he cares about her through all of that. And then the play unfolds and she watches her life, essentially, you know, how Lexi portrays her and all the things that she went through as they're sitting in her room and she's talking about it and she commends her and she says, you know, she finally comes to realization with herself. Like, I've been through a lot. I know I'm a fucked up person, but like, it's for a reason. It doesn't make it okay, but she's not like feeling sorry for herself so much anymore as like understanding where she's at and she's got to move forward. And I think that those just kind of those relationships, which I said, I know you hated it, but he plays an integral part. That relationship that they have is very important to her character and that they're going to tell more with it. There's going to be more that comes from that in her healing or whatever it might be for her or the downfall, you know, and there's so much that she's at stake with still.
Well, hopefully in his deep caring, he gets to make out with Jules again.
I think too,
because that's real care right there.
One of the big parts of that whole conversation was when Rue said, I have a lot of I'm sorry's to do.
Yeah.
But I don't have very many I forgive yous. Or I'll
forgive you.
I'll forgive you.
It's weird that
and then
she
says, and then she says,
I know.
Thank you for that. So I took that as he's one of few people she's going to forgive for doing what they did.
Yep.
So I think he's going to be around for the long haul.
She's going to forgive him. This is the one time I stick up for Ellie. Like, she's going to forgive him. That's funny. Like all the shit that she did to everybody fucking else.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, he was being a friend and she saw that as a betrayal, but
it's not though. It's
definitely not.
Yeah.
He did a very, I think both
Brad's
of them, which we
falling
talked
asleep
about.
over here.
No, I'm right.
They both did something that I have a lot of respect for. I know it's just a show, but they both put themselves in a place where they put the person that they love's security and safety above that friendship. And I think that means a lot. And I know you're joking because you hate Elliot, or you're not joking, but you hate Elliot.
I don't hate Elliot. I just think
she
his
never
character's
wronged
so
him.
Inconsequential.
She never wronged him though. So she has the right to say like, I forgive you, because it's not like where she fucked Jules over or she fucked her family over. And like, for you to give them forgiveness with everything you put them through is different. She never wronged him and she feels he was wrong. And she's just letting him know, like, I get what you did. I forgive it. I still think she has to feel that right. Like, I don't know.
His intake was to basically make sure she was safe and okay. Yeah. So he has to apologize for that.
Okay, we might get to it here later on, but as addicts, you know, like what goes through their mind, you never know.
Sure.
It's different scenarios and lifestyles.
Do y'all know when season 3 is coming out? Have they talked about it yet?
They're saying, so the rumor right now is that they might reach for a December release, but
please.
The smart money is probably on early next year, like January or February. Yeah. It depends on like if COVID stays away and they can keep filming, we're straight laced.
Gotcha. I'm pretty big into Ozark, and it was a pretty long wait last time.
But they've already got that filmed.
Yeah, April 29th. It's go time.
It's done. Yeah. So
Brad, you said you haven't seen, or you've seen little bits of Euphoria, just not for you, or
I haven't seen enough of it to even know what's going on.
Yeah.
That's the wife's thing. She watches it.
Not interested?
Not really.
It's not your kind of show, I'm sure.
Right. I'm sure I will. I'm sure I'll end up seeing episodes with her or something.
Yeah.
That's like her time to take her bath and watch her movie and watch her show, and that's her thing.
You do know there's a lot of penises in it, right?
Which is honestly why I said I'll ultimately watch it. But
just want to make sure. No, it's fantastic. If you haven't gathered from our conversation,
no,
it's a show
worth
of
watching.
dicks.
There's a lot of hanging dicks.
A lot of dicks.
There's oddly a lot of wieners in the show for whatever reason they felt that was.
That's happening in more and more shows, and I'm like, stop it.
And did you hear the controversy is that Sam Levinson is showing Cassie a lot nude, like she's supposed to be a teenager in perception, and that he's exploiting her.
We talked about that, I think, on season 1, how it's odd to see how sexual the show is, because we know we're watching what's being portrayed as high schoolers.
That's the reality,
and that's but as viewers, how it feels wrong, because I mean, obviously they're all older, but it feels like, okay, this is weird that we're watching these high school sexual, very depicted sexual interactions. You know, it's very odd. So but yeah, I mean, that's weird about the casting thing, because I think we talked about it before, how she seems to be she seems to be the coming star of the show. Like there's a lot of attention on her, both on the show and then in social media, and her career outside of this is starting to kind of bloom and stuff.
Yeah.
She's getting a lot of attention. So
kind of the same with Maddie too. Yeah, they both are. They both have good careers.
Yep.
Before I get into my last part, what was some of the additional stuff that we were going to talk about?
Let's take a look. Let's see. We did Euphoria. We did Beetlejuice, Kanye, AMC. Okay, so we have Jack Harlow and Love Is Blind.
Oh
still.
yeah.
So Jack Harlow has been announced to play in the new, I guess I don't know, is it a sequel or a remake?
I heard
White
nothing
Men
about
Can't-
this.
So White Men Can't Jump is either being remade. No, it's being remade because he's playing Billy. So they're making a new White Men Can't Jump, and
Rosie Perez is returning.
She's not in it. She's dead. They celebrate her death in this.
She's dead.
Jack
The
Harlow,
Spooky Brothers killed her.
has been cast to play as Billy, and I'm curious to see who they portray as Wesley Snipes' character in this, because I mean, you got to. This is Jack Harlow's acting debut, and you're putting him as that character in like a remake of a very classic movie.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on a remake on Jack Harlow, who I know nothing about? And if you have any interest in this movie, do you guys like the first one?
Love
First one's awesome.
Love the first one. Yeah, I watch it all the like usually once or twice a year. I'll pull it out and watch it. Yeah,
that's it.
Love the first Space Jam.
Yeah.
Second one not so
Hated
great.
it. Yeah.
So therefore,
Yeah.
White Men Can't Jump. Just let us keep the classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is blasphemous.
Nothing that you have any interest in, bro?
No way. And I like Jack Harlow. I think that he is a great artist, but
Yeah.
to remake, it's a cash grab, like we were talking about earlier with the second Beetlejuice or whatever.
It's the name.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
I guarantee you, it'll have nothing to do with
But
the
it just
first film or no tie to it whatsoever.
Yeah.
The characters might be the same name. That's about
Like
it.
a Point Break where
Yeah.
they use the same name and it's completely different
Nothing
storyline.
like it. Yeah. I'll tell you who should be Wesley's
I
character
was
though.
gonna ask you guys that. Who do you think should play him?
2 words. Chris Pratt.
Oh, absolutely. But he's the wrong
Dude,
color.
you took my.
You can't do that. We're past that, Chris. It's not allowed anymore.
He's
Otherwise, he would
No,
be the
you're not
perfect
allowed to do
character.
that anyway.
he's great for everything.
He
Yeah.
would be.
We need a black woman. Chris Pratt.
I mean, I'm all for it. I would vote for it.
Yeah.
I think you give him every opportunity. He should play them both.
He doesn't get enough is all.
He
I'm
does
saying.
Yeah,
not
like
get
a Nutty
enough
Professor.
roles. Absolutely, like Nutty Professor. Chris Pratt is the Eddie Murphy of today.
Yeah.
He can
Yeah.
play every character in any character, white, black, female, male, doesn't matter. That man is a godsend.
Yeah.
He's the next Betty White.
Yeah.
We're gonna be like, save Chris Pratt.
Yep. 206 years old. Let's
I'm
do
glad that you're finally coming to terms and agreeing
it. Absolutely.
on air.
Opportunity, baby. That's all it needs.
So yeah, I'm not thrilled by any means.
I'm not
I
either.
have no interest in this whatsoever.
I hope it's not true.
It's true. It's been
It's all over Instagram.
it's been talked about. Jack Harlow's talk. I mean, whatever.
Ugh.
We'll see what comes
It's
of
out
it.
there. It's on the line.
It's on the line. It must be true.
There might be people younger than us that have never seen the first one at all. And they're just like, Jack Harlow's in a movie. This is going to be great. You know, they
Absolutely.
don't have the same nostalgia factor that we
And,
do.
and we're
so-
gonna laugh in their faces.
Right. Yeah.
Are they gonna have a Jeopardy person?
Oh,
I mean, is it
who are they
be-
gonna?
Is it gonna be the same storyline?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm really curious.
I don't think so.
There's no way these kids know 7 foods with the letter Q. I know that for sure. There's no way.
It's a quince.
Oh my god. So, all right. So yeah, that's
Just
coming at some point in the future. When I don't know. What I don't know. But
Hopefully, it
Jack
falls
Harlow
through,
will play
funding
Billy.
Fails.
Yeah.
I hope that maybe they get defunded or something.
COVID comes back and it has to shut down. There you go.
Right, there we go. The other thing I had before Chris does the box office hits was we talked about Love Is Blind last week. I don't think any of you watched this. Anybody watch the show? No one's fucking watched this.
People like
No.
100 people.
Go
told me
ahead,
to
Ryan.
watch it,
Go ahead
though.
and tell us about it.
But I watched so I've been waiting anxiously for today to come because it's the reunion. So it's a year later. They all get back together and they kind of hash things out and they talk about their what happened in their relationships and the one. So 2 of the couples are still married. A year later, things are going great. They're happy. But I'm watching the reunion today, and this one guy that's on there, Shake is his name. His like nickname. It's an Indian. He's Indian descent, and his name I can't pronounce, but he goes by Shake. But he's getting torn apart. Nick Lachey and his wife are tearing apart. The whole cast hates him. Online is in an uproar about this guy.
Just think Lachey's wife would tear me apart.
Me too. Well, it's funny because oh my god. So I'll get to that in a second. So, anyways, I'm watching this, and everyone is kind of on edge and anxious about this guy, and you can tell they're all annoyed anytime he like tries to open his mouth. And he just voices things truthfully, where I think a lot of people would say, but because they're being on a reality TV show where everything they do is being watched, they probably wouldn't. He doesn't care. He's just that guy that's like, whatever, hate me or don't. I'm
No filter.
Yeah, he just doesn't care. He's going to be who he is. So anyways, the reason he's getting torn apart is because, as I prefaced before, the show is you meet people through the window or blindly, and you're supposed to get that emotional connection to them and then decide if you want to marry them. We talked about it. He had made some comments throughout the show, one of which was, when you go out, what things do you like to do for fun? Do you like, and he said, I really like going to concerts. And she said, yeah, I do. I love being on like your shoulders at a concert. And he was like, oh, that's great. Me too. He's like, but could I lift you up? Would I be able to put you on your shoulders, or would that be an issue? Like, and everyone took that as like a body shaming, like you're calling her fat.
Maybe he's weak.
Right. So everyone turned this into a huge deal. So we're recapping all this stuff on the reunion show, and everyone's attacking the guy. And he comes out and he basically says, like, look, love can be blind, but I don't think you have to get married. Like, I think you can go through this experience and you can find an emotional connection with someone, and that doesn't mean at the end you have to get married. You can see where it goes. And Nick Lachey and his wife are tearing the guy apart. Like, well, then you're on the wrong fucking show. Why'd you even come on the show? The point is to go through this experience and find your soulmate.
They're hosts. They're supposed to be impartial.
Bro, they're tearing this guy apart. So he goes on to say there is an emotional connection. Obviously, that's very important. But if every one of you here in here is going to admit that that's all that matters, and if the person on the other side of that wall, you saw them and you were completely unattracted to them, that you would still get married to them. And they're all like, yeah, of course we would. That's the whole point of this. And they're like tearing this guy apart. And he's like, that's not the only thing. Emotional connection is very important.
I'm not saying it,
but you still need to be, there's still more to that.
Yeah, sounds like my stance when we talked about this last week.
Yeah, so I guess are people do you guys think that people are in an uproar of this to be that, like, so often people online want to be like the advocate for something or whatever?
Yeah, I think so.
And where this guy just had the balls to say how he really feels.
It's the popular show at the moment. So of course people are going to chime in and give their 2 cents to whatever issue is in it.
Right.
Bad lunch meat or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they're making a mountain out of an anthill, and it's really not that big of a deal. I would do the same thing, honestly. Like, look, if you think physical attraction isn't as important as whatever mental stimulation, and emotional stimulation, like, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah. Dan, go ahead.
This is what I said last week.
Yeah.
I was
we agreed.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people are in an uproar because they're not in those situations right now.
But I mean, I'm talking about the people on the show even that went through the same experience as him. They're all calling him out as being like demoralizing to women, and like he's a complete asshole for trying to, like,
he's being himself.
That's exactly what he said too. It's exactly what he said. And they all were tearing. If anything,
they
you guys should watch
so bad.
If anything, you guys should watch just the reunion episode just to see how they tear this guy down. Everyone.
I'd grow up,
bro. It was wild. So to your point though, you made a comment about Nick Lachey's wife. So he goes on to say, look, every woman in here is beautiful, but that doesn't mean I'm attracted to you or that I would marry you. He's like, the only one in here I would marry is whatever Nick Lachey's wife.
The hottest fucking woman in the room
is Nick Lachey's wife, and you should have seen both their faces, bro. She was like horrified, and then she like kind of put her arm on Nick like this, like, because you could tell he was getting like upset. But
the hottest girl in the room,
that's a compliment.
So but I'm telling you, they like all hate this guy. Like, they hate this guy. And I'm just like, if he was like fat shaming people or something, okay.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing that. I mean, not the way that I took it. The guy was just trying to find out. He even said, he's like, I'm not saying I need a 5'7", 150 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes, and that's it.
But there's nothing wrong with that if you do.
But he's like, there needs to be some sort of range. Everyone has a type of person they're attracted to. There's a range there, and that's all I'm looking for, and I don't understand why that's wrong. Bro. Y'all got to see this shit.
I got to high five this guy because I'm on his side.
Bro. I don't see the problem. Like, we all have a type. So like,
I just didn't see how it was being portrayed wrong. He was very, and the thing is, he was vocal with the one that he connected with emotionally. He was vocal with her that they had a very strong emotional connection, but when they met physically, he was willing to make it work, but he straight up told her that I'm not attracted to you like that. Like
end the game.
He told her,
let's be friends.
He said, like, I find you attractive, but I don't feel that connection. I'm willing to work at it. Maybe as we get to know each other more, it will come around. Like, he gave it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, would you rather that? Would you not want him to be honest with you and continue to move on throughout this
and eventually cheat on you probably
otherwise?
Yeah.
I wish you guys have seen it. I'm watching it today. One, it's extremely awkward to watch some of this. I mean, you got to think these people were being watched, like everything that they did. And then they like make them rewatch it back with everyone there because they never saw it.
Right.
They see it all filmed when we see it filmed, and then they all get together and watch it. And some of the stuff is just so uncomfortable.
Nick Lachey at one time married Jessica Simpson. Not exactly the definition of mental stimulation, mind you.
Right.
Like, don't fucking tell me about physical attraction, dude. Don't fucking preach to me.
Right. Yeah. You're married
and
to
his wife
supermodel,
is,
basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like,
so I don't know.
Did he get like some type of signal from her brain power that said, "Hey, I'm emotionally for you,"
right?
Or did he see her from across the room and approach her and start talking to her? Right. I guarantee it was the latter.
He heard physical attracted first.
He heard the sound. Oh.
It's true though.
Appearance is a major part. Attraction is a major part of physical attraction of relationships.
And everyone is attracted to a different type of person, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to outside of this experiment, where they remove that, the first thing that starts it is that attraction. Oh, so what I was going to say, and then I forgot until just now. Is it Vanessa? Is that
Vanessa Manillo?
So she tried to compare this to if you were married to someone and they got in a car accident and messed their face up, would you stop loving them? And he's like, that's completely different. You're already married. You've already established a life with them. That's completely different than trying to say that in a situation for someone you've known for 10 days.
Cool. Let's all just marry people we're unattracted to and then fucking just cheat on them.
This poor guy. I mean, I feel like bad.
If my aunt had a penis, she'd be my uncle. Like,
the thoughts and comments of Jesse Young do not reflect the Made to Motivate podcast.
That's the what if game.
Bro.
That's something that like Norm said one time too.
I don't know. Like, that's how it is. Like, you can't use that situation and
I need for an argument. To watch. Everyone is just
sorry in the days of
tearing this guy apart. And I'm just like, man, what a rough situation to be in, an uncomfortable situation. Be in this room with all these people that are like, want to just kill you.
I'm on his side.
Yeah, man.
I think they're all immature.
I mean, I don't know what more stuff went on that they didn't put in the episodes that maybe he said or did.
Yeah.
But if you're going to tell me that physical attraction absolutely has no place, you're full of shit.
Oh, sweetie, you grew up with Disney movies. That's cute.
Right. Anyways, watch it, please. Because I was waiting all week for it, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Box office hits.
Rounding it out.
Wait, did you see this? You said you haven't seen Love Is Blind?
No.
Okay. He doesn't give a shit.
I knew that was a no.
Yeah.
I've seen like memes of it, stuff like that.
Do you have an opinion?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like right now I don't know, I've been with my wife for 7 years, I guess. She's my best friend. And if she got hit by a truck tomorrow, I'm going to love her just the same.
Right.
However, if I met her yesterday and she got hit by a truck today, I guess I'm shallow in the sense that
you're not shallow.
That's basically what they're making him out to be, though.
Yeah, I'm a shallow person because I'm not. I'm sorry.
You have needs too, man. And sure. Look, if you're not attracted to that, it's a recipe for a doomed relationship.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's how messes are made.
Yep. Be attracted to her. Be proud of that attraction.
Yep. Right. It's completely different when you have been with someone for that long. That supersedes something tragic like that happening to them. Like, it doesn't matter to you anymore. Changes in your appearance, gaining weight, losing weight, whatever it happens to you, that subsides. Like, you've built such a strong bond at that point. It's irrelevant. But right from the start, you're fucking full of shit.
Yeah.
You're full of shit. You're trying to be like the good guy and act like you said, you live in a fucking fairy tale. You're full of it. If that wasn't the case, then we'd see a lot more fucking really attractive people with ugly people.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, there's attractive people and there's people you're not. They're ugly because you're not attracted to them. That doesn't mean someone isn't attracted to them. but you'd see a lot different relationships out there than what we see.
I'll tell you what, take a producer vote, send the ugliest girl to my house, and we'll see if we have this spiritual connection.
Right. I don't know, man. People are in a fairy tale, and I get the purpose of the show. Yeah. Like that it was to try and alleviate that, to build the connection first and then build off of it. But like I told you guys last week, no one on the show is bad looking.
No,
it's not like they put anybody on the show that was unattractive. They're all very good looking people.
So you knew what you were getting into to begin with anyway. Like as producers, I'm saying you loaded the cast with a bunch of models.
Right.
So you kind of contributed to that stereotype anyway.
Right. There's no one on there that if I made that emotional connection with them and like that's the person I got, that I would have been like devastated by. I mean,
because we can't put ugly people on TV. That would be tragic.
So I mean, in that sense alone, it's kind of hypocritical.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's my Love is Blind rant, but it was very good. And there's another one coming out. Hold on. No, this one I think is self-sabotage. And I want to know, it's from the same people, but this one's called Ultimatum. And this is a couple that's together, one person in the couple who's ready to get married and one person in the couple relationship who's not. They're going to go into this experiment, and you meet a different person in the group and you live with them for 3 weeks. And then you decide if you're going to stay with the person you came with or you're going to find
and these are the people preaching self-righteous values.
Right.
Kiss my ass.
You're telling me
no values.
You're telling me you're going to bring your significant other on a show and say you can move in with another woman or man for 3 weeks?
No.
And you're okay with that?
No.
Get the fuck out of here.
No.
Trash TV.
One doesn't want to be married at all, and the other one's like ready for it, like right now.
Right.
Or
heartbreak.
One who's ready to break up with that person. The other one wants to. That's a very volatile situation.
So the relationship.
And you're exploiting it.
The relationship is in very good stand. Well, to an extent, obviously, you're going on this fucking reality TV show, but it's in good standing. It's not that they want to break up. It's just one's ready to move forward with getting married, and one's just not ready to commit to being married. And their point is to try and see, well, if you met another person, is that going to like make you realize what you have? And you're going to move in with this person for 3 weeks and you're supposed to be okay with that?
This is such a bad idea.
Bro, man. I want to see it just for the cringeworthiness
is that person they're going to move in with uglier or better looking than their spouse?
Again, I saw the preview and they're all good looking.
We don't put ugly people on TV, Dan. When you're going to learn that Roseanne was an anomaly.
They're all very good looking. I saw the preview for it and they're all very attractive. So you're going to take... you're going to put me in to move in with some really attractive woman for 3 weeks. And I'm just supposed to be like, oh, okay.
Go ahead and soil your oats.
And I don't want to get married and I'm on the fence about it anyway.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
3 week hall pass? What?
Needs to get his noodle wet. That's all. Moving on. Last thing with Hollywood Report. We've got the weekend box office top 5. We've got something strange on the top 5 this week. So this doesn't happen often. All 5 movies last week are the same 5 movies this week in their exact place and order. So we're going to go over this real fast and kind of review the numbers. Number 5 this week, just like it was number 5 last week, Jackass Forever with $3.1 million, still playing in just over 2,500 theaters and with 52 million to its intake so far. Number 4 is Death on the Nile with a $4.4 million intake, brings its grand total to $32 million in 3 weeks. Pretty solid for a murder mystery, especially one that people wasn't expecting much of an intake for. The critics have panned this movie left and right, myself included, and just kind of surprising a lot of people for sure. People still crave those murder mysteries. Number 3, still on the countdown, 11 weeks, Spider-Man No Way Home, another $5.8 million. This is week 11.
Is it to $1 billion yet?
Worldwide it is, yes. Domestically it's only $780 million, so it's weak.
$780 million.
It's the 3rd highest grossing movie of all time. The second now, the highest MCU movie of all time. This is ridiculous, dude. I don't think this movie, I don't think it can get off the top 5.
I mean, I know you guys loved it, but like, is it deserving of this level? Like it is meeting the expectation.
As far as looking at the other movies on here, like just look at the top 10.
Yeah.
It's better than every single one of them. Yeah.
But I mean, even overall, as far as like the MC movies go as a whole, like, and the numbers it's reaching,
Yeah.
You think that it belongs where it's at. Yeah.
It's a landmark film just because of what happens in it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I think it's going to set the stage for Doctor Strange and a lot of the phase 4 movies too, moving forward.
You've seen it, Brad?
I was part of the week 11 gross probably.
Okay.
I just took my kid to see it.
Really?
Nice.
Well, at least you saw it.
So, yeah.
So
You
enjoyed it?
I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, I think part of the stuff that happened in the movie leads to the next part of the MCU.
Because we spoke last week on Doctor Strange 2 basically being like an open door, a floodgate, if you will, of like cameos and you know, other characters from other galaxies coming over and being a part of this movie. I think Marvel has seen that now. Like, it's a proven commodity, obviously, with $780 million to its take.
Wild.
Why don't we exploit this as much as we can? I'm for it as long as the movies don't get too convoluted, you know? Yeah.
I was talking about this with someone the other day, because obviously I know the big joke is Ryan still hasn't seen it. It's not going to be a Disney Plus movie, right? If and when it comes to streaming, because it's Sony still, right? Or would this fall under Disney, under all the other MC movies?
I think it is Disney though. Still, like, I think. Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I was kind of curious.
No, it is Disney because I read the article. It said DVD, or was it? It said rental, DVD, and streaming on Disney Plus.
Okay, cool.
In whatever that date was, April something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was curious. I'm like, at this point, like, am I going to see it in a theater or not? But I'll eventually see it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And whoever I was discussing it with was saying that they didn't think it would be a Disney property because of the Spider-Man.
I think
with the connection that they have or whatever. I don't know.
It's a co-produce.
Gotcha.
So I think so. I think they still get credit for it. It is ultimately their property at the end of the day. Yeah. So Spider-Man still kicking ass, man. And I mean, looking at it with this week, obviously the Batman is going to be on the countdown next week. It's probably going to be number 1. So Spider-Man might drop to maybe 4th next week, but it's still going to be in the top 5. There's no other big releases coming out this week. So I expect it to be number 4 next week.
Wild.
Up to number 2 this week is Dog, repeating its spot with another $10 million in its intake, $30 million. This is exceeding expectations on all fronts. I'm kind of
surprised number 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
for this.
Yeah, I mean, one could call it the bleak February as far as, you know, what's out there. There's not a lot of movies that people are clamoring to see, at least until the Batman hits theaters. So yeah, I like this week. I'm curious to see what it does though after this weekend. Now that Batman has come along, now that it's taking some of its pot, you know, it's gonna be interesting to see if it can crack the top 3 next week too.
My parents went and saw it yesterday, I believe it was.
What do they think?
My dad said it's not a movie he wished he would have seen. I mean, it wasn't anything great. Like, you weren't surprised by anything. You knew what you're gonna get every turn of the movie.
As I said last week, I don't think it's a kids movie. Honestly, I don't know who this movie is marketed towards. Like, there's a lot of
females, females.
Yeah,
it's a female movie. Dogs and Channing Tatum.
Yeah. I mean, it's just strange because like the way they marketed it on the trailer was it was this kind of feel good, happy, like guy meets dog kind of story. But like, it's not that in the movie. Once you see it, like, it is anything but that. Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen one of those like face cams as you watch of Wes, because I'm sure he was probably like, his facial reactions are just really funny. To have seen him watching this probably would have been really entertaining.
I saw the video he was a part of with your page that you shared the one time. Yeah, that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. And he commented on when I cleaned the shoes, he commented on there is like, yeah, my shoes will never get that clean, at least until I do another unboxing video.
So funny.
That's what you guys were talking about with your shoes online the other day, what you use. Number 1 movie once again this week, in its 2nd week, is Uncharted, making another 23. This is kind of funny. $23 million, $23 million and $1. I've never seen that to where it's rounded off to $1. But interesting.
They wanted to give it all the credit it deserved, Chris.
I guess so. In its 2nd week, $83 million for Uncharted, man. That's
surprised by that as well.
What scares me is that it's just going to open the door for more of these movies. And this movie is nothing special. It's mediocre in every definition of the word. And you're going to get more video game adaptations where they're uninspired, where they're unambitious. And you paid for it, so congratulations.
I think much probably like I kind of alluded to with Spider-Man still doing so well and kind of hinting at Euphoria's hype and Zendaya and people going to see it. Probably similar case with this, with Tom Holland being in the lead.
100.
That's the only reason people are going to see it. I mean, most people probably don't even know anything about the video game. They're going to see it because it's Marky Mark and Tom Holland, and that's the only thing carrying.
It's really that they're not characters.
Yeah,
they're playing themselves.
That's all it is.
Say hi to your mom for me, all right?
Yeah, I don't think I won't see it obviously until it comes to streaming device near you. So
with them, a Hollywood Report. Let's transition to the next thing.
Made to Motivate podcast.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. That's all we got for part 1 of this episode. This will be continued in a part 2. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all. That is Made to Motivate podcast. Make sure you tune into the show every week. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube so you know when the new videos launch. And check out our pages individually if you can. We appreciate the support. At Jesse Unk SI on Twitter. Chris, the Film Freak Kessinger. Check out the Film Freak Review page on Facebook. And I am Ryan Weiss. You can check out rockeverywhereinc.etsy.com to follow my art and apparel page. We appreciate the support. And, of course, at Made to Motivate podcast on all social media sites. Thanks again, and we'll check you next week.